embedded in the very center of the target, a perfect 10. Truly the brother-in-law. His archery skills are unparalleled. Haha. The two young ladies were even more delighted. With that arrow, their mischievous scheme against Lu Di was set in motion. Does it mean that I can only win by hitting a more distant target? Came Lu Di's nonchalant voice from the side. Upon hearing this, Ouyang Fingyu displayed an utterly exasperated expression. Brother Lu, this is a 25-meter target. Any further would be 30 meters, which is the distance of a professional competition. At this juncture, Ouyang Fingyu glanced back at Lu Di, and his demeanor suddenly froze in astonishment. Haha. Ouyang Fingyu could no longer maintain his refined image and burst into hearty laughter. Lu Di, what is that you are holding? In Lu Di's hands was an enormous horn bow, its design archaic and craftsmanship rudimentary, with the bowstring made of thick hemp rope. Ouyang Fingyu had initially brought this bow back for its unique aesthetic, but it was crafted in a primitive manner, lacking any precision. Moreover, it was a weapon used by local hunters to hunt wild boars, requiring 2 people to draw the string. Statistically, this bow had a draw weight of at least 180 pounds, meaning one would need an arm strength of 80 kilograms to pull it back. Even Ouyang Fingyu, a former archery champion, could merely toy with it, unable to wield it effortlessly. Brother Lu, I suggest you switch to another bow, otherwise our competition may as well end now. Ouyang Fingyu adjusted his glasses and wiped away the tears of laughter. It's not that I look down upon you, but with this bow, your arrow won't reach even 5 meters. First, I need a 40-meter target. Second, Lu Di gently blew the dust off his horn bow and replied nonchalantly, since Mr. Ouyang is so certain that I cannot shoot an arrow, why don't we raise the stakes? Are you brave enough to stand in front of the bullseye? Haha, this young man is amusing. Ouyang Fingyu, unwilling to lose an ounce of his momentum, confidently swung his arm and strode towards the bullseye. I can understand wanting to impress your sisters, but the manner you've chosen is simply impossible. It will only lead to utter humiliation. Ouyang Fingyu found the situation utterly ridiculous. How could Lu Di, with his slight build, even dream of drawing back the horn bow? At a distance of 40 meters, let alone shooting an arrow. Even if I stood still and let you throw something, you wouldn't land it anywhere near me. However, this competition served a purpose. Soon, during lunch, this fellow would be eating in a handstand before his father, truly the best joke of the year. I can't wait to see how he maintains his standing in the Yin family after this. With that thought, a smirk of derision crept across Ouyang Fingyu's face. Meanwhile, Lu Di had selected the thickest arrow from the quiver beside him, a fully metallic shaft comparable to a spear, with a series of taut sounds. The bowstring was drawn tight, sending dust flying. As Ouyang Fingyu elegantly turned upon reaching the bullseye, he was momentarily rendered speechless. Lu Di moved, bending his arm, drawing the bow. Aiming, each action flowed seamlessly, as smooth as water. 180 pounds? For Lu Di, whose strength had been enhanced to 286 and possessed a one-arm strength of 100 kilograms. It was a trivial task. The moment he grasped the bow and arrow, a myriad of archery techniques flashed through his mind like lightning, and everything felt as natural as breathing. At that moment, Yin Kai and Yin Xinshin were gazing up at Lu Di from behind. A tall figure was seen, with long arms drawing back a massive horn bow, resembling a full moon and exuding an innate wildness. Under the brilliant sunlight, he appeared as magnificent as a chiseled Greek deity. They were left in stunned silence. To pull such a colossal horn bow with such terrifying force required an extraordinary strength. The two girls who had previously attempted to draw this bow understood well how rigid the bow itself was and how difficult it was to disturb the bowstring. Upon witnessing this scene, not only they, but even Ouyang Fingyu, a 6-time champion, felt his pupils constrict in awe. Brother-in-law, don't shake. Lu Di's arm was taut. His left eye narrowed, his aim precisely focused on the bullseye down to the millimeter. He calculated the wind speed at 1.5 meters per second, the weight of the steel arrow, the rate of speed decay. Everything was under his control. Such precise data, coupled with godlike archery skills, made Lu Di unparalleled in single-shot archery. Suddenly, Lu Di tilted his head slightly and flashed a mischievous grin at the two young beauties. Sisters, do you faint at the sight of blood? The two girls, enchanted by Lu Di's handsome demeanor, gasped in surprise. The bullseye was occupied by their dashing brother-in-law. Lu Di gently closed his eyes, preparing for a blind shot. The next moment, whoosh, the enormous arrow, comparable to a spear, was released from Lu Di's hand. The sound of it slicing through the air was deafening. Hurtling towards Ouyang Fengyu, this shot had the momentum to crush and obliterate everything in its path. Ouyang Fengyu was so taken aback that he forgot to evade. The sheer force of the arrow left him no time to react. Whoosh! The iron arrow pierced through Ouyang Fengyu's collar, lifting him off the ground. Bang! Ouyang Fengyu was thrust back 2 meters, crashing into the target he had previously set up. The massive arrow penetrated the bullseye, lodged halfway through. Ouyang Fengyu, like a prisoner hanging from the city walls, was suspended beneath the bullseye, his clothes pulled up to reveal half of his belly, his expression dazed. This all transpired too swiftly. By the time the 2 young beauties recovered their senses, Lu Di had calmly stowed away his bow and arrow. Their brother-in-law lay there, utterly defeated. "Are you okay, brother-in-law?" Yin Kakai and Yin Xinshin exclaimed in unison. The 2 girls rushed to Ouyang Fengyu's side, but they could not pull out the arrow that was stuck in the bullseye. Ouyang Fengyu stood there, dazed and confused, still reeling from the shock. It was too outrageous. Such a bow, such an arrow, spanning 40 meters, had lifted Ouyang Fengyu and struck the bullseye with precision. "Lu Di, you have gone too far. How could you do something so dangerous?" Yin Kai exclaimed, hands on her hips, her face flushed with anger. "It's just a competition," Lu Di replied nonchalantly, putting away his bow and lighting a cigarette. "By the way, I suppose I've won. Haven't I?" Yin Xinshin pointed at Lu Di with her small hand and declared, "I'm going to tell third sister and have her kick you out." "Tell on me?" Lu Di shrugged his shoulders, asking what there was to report. After all, this was a competition initiated by them. Furthermore, he had not sustained any injuries. Just as Lu Di was about to continue his rebuttal, he was interrupted by Ouyang Fengyu, who had regained his composure. Ouyang Fengyu grasped the iron arrow and abruptly pulled it out. After adjusting his attire, he appeared to be back to his usual self, though his expression had grown as dark as a stormy sea. "It's perfectly fine. My brother Lu and I were merely engaged in a friendly spar. There's no need to hold him accountable," Ouyang Fengyu stated, his piercing gaze fixed intently on Lu Di. The voice of the demon child chimed in. This individual's reflexes have likely reached a level of enmity that knows no bounds. Wait, this person is extraordinary," with the demon child's astonished exclamation. A particular detail within Lu Di's perspective was magnified. He observed as Ouyang Fengyu pressed down on the steel arrow with a single finger, causing it to bend instantaneously. It was a minute gesture, imperceptible to the untrained eye, yet it did not escape the demon child's keen observation. The demon child cautioned. A steel arrow bent effortlessly by a mere fingertip. Such strength is beyond that of an ordinary individual. A flicker of surprise crossed Lu Di's face, quickly replaced by a smile. "Mr. Ouyang, are you all right?" "I've merely developed some brute strength while working on construction sites." Lu Di spoke the truth. For 3 years, he had been plagued by neurological headaches due to ocular injuries, rendering him unable to work long hours and forcing him to take on odd jobs in restaurants and on construction sites. I'm perfectly fine. Let us call it a day with the arrows. It's time to prepare lunch." In an instant, Ouyang Fengyu flashed a bright smile, seemingly as if nothing had transpired, his demeanor shifting effortlessly. Unbeknownst to others, Ouyang Fengyu's fists were clenched so tightly that they turned pale, his gaze upon Lu Di now resembling that of a predatory beast. In the dining hall of the Yin family's manor, Lu Di, the 4 daughters of the Yin family, and Ouyang Fengyu were seated on either side of an ornate European-style long table. The key figures had yet to arrive, and everyone waited in silence. Opposite Lu Di sat the 3rd daughter, Yin Qingwen. She had donned a black cocktail dress, her already stunning looks enhanced with an added touch of elegance. At this moment, Lu Di was not solely captivated by her beauty, rather, he was observing Ouyang Fengyu from a distance, pondering the source of his extraordinary strength. Had he perhaps practiced some forbidden arts? One moment he appeared refined, the next utterly foolish, yet he could mask his emotions even in the throes of anger. Such cunning was indeed formidable. It seemed this son-in-law was far more enigmatic than Lu Di had initially surmised. Ultimately, Lu Di could only shrug in resignation. "Oh well, starting tomorrow." I shall have no further ties with the Yin family. Whatever Ouyang's true nature may be is no concern of mine. A few authoritative coughs resonated through the air. At the top of the staircase, a dignified elder, guided by the old steward, slowly made his descent. Ding, Yin Hongxin, 75 years old, chairman of the Ingji Group. The group focuses on medical devices and life health. The wealthiest man in Haishur, ranked 27th on the Huaxia Rich list. In his later years, he is passionate about philanthropy, having donated nearly 3 billion yuan to primary schools and hospitals, established the Awakening Charity Foundation for comatose patients, specifically to assist economically disadvantaged families of comatose individuals. The timely information from the magic I left Lu Di with a clear perception. This esteemed elder, Yin, is indeed wealthy. Moreover, he possesses a benevolent heart, embodying the essence of a great philanthropist. Lu Di couldn't help but admire him in silence, and his gaze towards the elder became imbued with greater respect. This must be Lu Di, indeed a person of remarkable talent. As Elder Yin approached, his smile radiated warmth and sincerity. It is I. Greetings, Elder Yin. Lu Di stood to respond. Let us take a seat and converse. Elder Yin occupied the seat of honor. Although his frame was stooped, he exuded an intangible authority. Lu Di, my granddaughter Wenwen is accustomed to a life of luxury. Her temperament somewhat aloof. I am concerned that she may neglect her benefactor, so I have specially invited you here to express my gratitude in person. Elder Yan's eyes sparkled with kindness as he turned to Lu Di. I sincerely apologize for our negligence. It has taken us 3 whole years to locate you. Lu Di nodded with a smile, harboring no resentment. Over the past 3 years, he had come to terms with everything. Elder Yin continued. I wonder if you have any knowledge of our Ingji group, or of me, Yin? As soon as the words were spoken, a torrent of information surged into Lu Di's mind, all pertaining to the Ingji group, one of the top 500 enterprises in Huaxia, a giant in medical devices. With a market value nearing $1 trillion, the sheer volume of information was dazzling. I have a somewhat general understanding. Lu Di scratched his head and chuckled. That's splendid. Elder Yin took a deep breath and said slowly, Then I shall be direct. Would you be willing to become my godson, to join the Yin family, enjoy wealth and prosperity, and support me in my later years? Father, you should reconsider. A line of Yin family members rose in protest, with Ouyang Fengyu reacting most vehemently. They had heard whispers of their father's intentions but never anticipated such a swift declaration. There is no need for deliberation. I wish to adopt Lu Di as my son. Elder Yin stated solemnly, his gaze fixed intently on Lu Di's artificial eye. Father, you cannot proceed in this manner. Lu Di lacks decorum, as he just. Yin Kaikai began to mention the archery competition but suddenly recalled the outcome and swallowed the words. Father, he saved my life, yet we should not feel obligated to repay him in such a manner. Yin Qingwen, too, wore an expression of disbelief. Ouyang Fengyu exclaimed, Father, did we not agree that you would first join the group in an executive role and receive a certain share? Your decision seems rather hasty. It became clear. As the protagonist of the event, Lu Di suddenly realized why Ouyang Fengyu had targeted him upon their first meeting. It was out of fear that he would seize the shares of the Yin family. Everyone, take your seats. The elder Yin glared fiercely. You have no idea what you're talking about. Lu Di sacrificed his right to save Qingwen. And so what? We can offer him money. Ouyang Fengyu retorted. Unwilling to concede, the elder Yin turned his gaze towards Lu Di, a flicker of remorse evident in his eyes. You know nothing of the hardships Lu Di has faced over the past 3 years. Due to his eye injury, he has had to take on various part-time jobs to survive, and because of a nerve infection in his eye, he will be completely blind in 3 years. He is only 25 years old. At this revelation, the elder Yin closed his eyes painfully. Our family owes Lu Di far too much. What? Yin Qingwen's body trembled as her gaze towards Lu Di grew exceedingly complex. Even the previously boisterous Yin Kaikai and Yin Xinxin fell into a sudden silence. They had been oblivious to Lu Di's impending blindness. Turning to Lu Di, the elder Yin expressed his apologies. I am sorry, Lu Di. I hope you can forgive me for looking into your background. Lu Di stood there, momentarily speechless, with a multitude of emotions swirling within him. While the elder Yan's words rang true, they belonged to a past he had moved beyond. Now he possessed the magical eye. which not only halted his injuries, but also bestowed upon him unimaginable abilities. Lu Di scratched his head, about to speak, when suddenly his stomach growled with insatiable hunger. The sensation was overwhelming. It felt as if he would faint if he did not eat immediately. Machong Lu Di, when I helped you synthesize muscle fibers earlier, I nearly exhausted your body's protein and glycogen reserves. You are currently in a state of hypoglycemia, hypolipidemia, and low fat. It is imperative that you eat at once. Why didn't you mention this sooner? Faced with the appetizers on the table, Lu Di could no longer restrain himself. Ignoring everything around him, he seized the food and began to devour it ravenously. How had he become this famished? The members of the Yin family were left in utter disbelief, their jaws dropping in shock. It was indeed as his father had said. He was living in a pitiable state. The two beautiful twin sisters watched, their lips twitching in astonishment. Quickly, bring Lu Di more food, the elder Yin urged. Ding. Sugar intake detected. Blood sugar levels are beginning to normalize. Beef protein intake detected. 0. 3 grams of muscle fibers synthesized. Muscle strength increased by 1. 6. Vitamin B complex and fish liver oil detected. Vision improved by 0. 8. Intake of eicosapentaenoic acid and other unsaturated fatty acids detected. Brain memory and cognitive ability enhanced by 2. 3. With each bite Lu Di took, he experienced a surge in his abilities. Moreover, the effects varied with different foods. As the family of the Yin clan observed, Lu Di continued to eat for a full 20 minutes. In the kitchen, 7 individuals were engaged in meal preparation. Yet it was Lu Di who consumed nearly all of it single-handedly. Normally, these elegant and refined individuals had never witnessed such a display of gluttony. He devoured the sirloin steak piece by piece, and seized the desserts with his bare hands. TSK, could this be the infamous ferocity of desperation? Yin Kai, with a flick of her tongue, murmured, while I feel a pang of sympathy for him, I would never wish for a brother like that. I have no desire to coexist with him. Observing Lu Di's messy eating habits, Ouyang Fingyu conceived a clever plan. He turned to fetch a bottle of red wine and said to old Master Yin, Father, prior to my arrival today, I made a special effort to procure a bottle of the 1982 Lafite vintage. Would you care to sample it? Old Master Yin, preoccupied with Lu Di's eating spectacle, merely responded with a casual Ouyang Fingyu poured the wine and leaned closer to old Master Yin, remarking, Father, look at Lu Di. He hails from humble beginnings and lacks any refinement. Should he be welcomed into the Yin family, he may inadvertently bring disgrace to you in significant gatherings. Would it not be wiser to provide him with a sum of money and allow him to live freely, thereby serving our mutual interests? Old Master Yan's expression grew increasingly serious. Observing Lu Di, Ouyang Fingyu smiled and said, As for the dishes, I shall instruct the kitchen to prepare another serving. For those already touched by Lu Di are rendered unfit for consumption. He then courteously poured wine for everyone, deliberately omitting Lu Di. Please, everyone, enjoy this wine. As for our young brother Lu, let him pass, for he surely lacks the palate to appreciate it. Lu Di, having feasted heartily, felt his physical condition significantly improve, with a marked enhancement in his bodily functions. After swallowing another piece of steak, he raised an eyebrow, declaring that the 1982 Lafite was merely a gimmick designed to deceive the affluent. Oh, old Master Yan's eyes sparkled with intrigue. Lu Di, do enlighten us. As Lu Di skillfully prepared a whole fish before him, with a marked having feasted heartily, felt his physical condition significantly improve, with a marked enhancement in his bodily functions. After swallowing another piece of steak, he raised an eyebrow, declaring that the 1982 Lafite was merely a gimmick designed to deceive the affluent. Oh, old Master Yan's eyes sparkled with intrigue. Lu Di, do enlighten us. As Lu Di skillfully prepared a whole fish before him, he nonchalantly explained, the reason the 1982 Lafite is so expensive is due to the severe drought that plagued the Bordeaux region that year, resulting in a sharp decline in grape yield. With such scarcity comes a high price. However, the grapes produced during this disaster were severely lacking in sugar content, ripeness, and aroma. Thus, the Lafite wine crafted from them is decidedly subpar. In fact, it pales in comparison to the vintages of 83, 84, or even 90. Lu Di swallowed a piece of the expertly deboned fish, chewing thoughtfully while casting a sidelong glance at the visibly distressed Ouyang Fingyu. I may not possess a discerning palate. But do you? At that moment, Lu Di couldn't help but chuckle inwardly at the irony. While he initially knew nothing about wine, he had fortuitously memorized an entire tome on wine tasting during his journey in Yin Qingwen's car, thanks to the assistance of the magical child. You are speaking nonsense. How could such an expensive wine possibly be inferior? Ouyang Fingyu trembled with rage, his finger quivering as he pointed at Lu Di. With a mischievous grin, Lu Di replied, "Believe it or not, but I just recalled something. Regarding today's archery competition, the loser?" This Ouyang Fingyu suddenly stammered. Yin Kakai and Yin Xinshin simultaneously covered their mouths, sensing the impending embarrassment for their brother-in-law. "Oh dear, there's no need for alarm. It is merely a jest. Please, take a seat," Lu Di chuckled lightly, unconcerned about the absurdity of dining upside down. As for this cunning brother-in-law, maintaining appearances was sufficient. Old Master Yin, however, perked up at Lu Di's remarks regarding wine appreciation. "Lu Di, what is your perspective on the economy of Huaxia?" Old Master Yin inquired, his smile broadening. "Huaxia's economy? How fortuitous. The second book I encountered in the car shall come in handy," Lu Di replied with a gentle laugh, gradually articulating, "The mighty Yangtze River flows across the land, gazing upon the great dragon of Huaxia. In 2020, Huaxia's economy shall enter a new era, achieving transformative changes along 3 dimensions, beginning with its international standing." For the ensuing half hour, Lu Di savored his meal leisurely while eloquently delivering a series of remarkable insights. From the Huaxia economy to national policies, entrepreneurial trends, and technological advancements, Lu Di spoke with ease and confidence, brimming with knowledge. He recited the 300,000 words of Huaxia economy with remarkable fluency, complemented by the 6 techniques from the art of conversation. His words were astonishing. By the end, even Yin Hongxin, a tycoon of the sea market, struggled to keep pace with Lu Di's rhythm and thought process. The children of the Yin family, initially dismissive, gradually became engrossed, their eyes widening with intrigue. While Yin Kai and Yin Xinshin could not fully grasp Lu Di's discourse, they were simply captivated by his articulate demeanor. So charming. Ouyang Fingyu's face grew increasingly flushed. In terms of knowledge, he felt utterly inferior compared to Lu Di. Only Yin Qingwen, who had recently returned from abroad and had been learning management alongside her father, could barely comprehend Lu Di's words. She was profoundly astonished, fully aware that Lu Di's commentary was not superficial but rather infused with unique insights, even surpassing the perspectives of some top economists. What kind of person is he? A wave of inexplicable emotion surged within Yin Qingwen as she unconsciously retrieved her metallic ballpoint pen, clicking it repeatedly. Old Master Yin and Yin Hongxin were increasingly astonished, their faces flushed with excitement. Having navigated the business world for decades, Old Master Yin had never encountered such an exceptional young talent. "Lu Di, what are your thoughts on our Engji Group's business?" Old Master Yin asked eagerly, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. At this moment, Lu Di felt somewhat satiated, placing down his utensils and letting out a soft sigh. "Old Yin, there is no need for further probing. I am not interested in becoming your adopted son. I apologize." Old Master Yin's disappointment was palpable, his gaze dimming in an instant. For him, Lu Di was not merely his daughter's savior but a once-in-a-century commercial prodigy. It would be a tremendous loss if he could not be brought into the Engji Group. Just then, Lu Di's gaze fell upon a red circle, focusing on Ouyang Fengyu, who was gnashing his teeth and furiously typing a message. The text from Ouyang Fengyu appears from Lu Di's perspective. "This Lu Di poses an immense threat to me. Within a month, I must ensure his demise. By the way, expedite the matter concerning Yin Qingwen." Damn it. Lu Di furrowed his brow slightly. "Despite my efforts to avoid confrontation, you escalate matters? You wish to eliminate me? It seems you also intend to deal with that woman, Yin Qingwen? Then I shall engage you in this game. Additionally, I shall deepen my understanding of the powers of the demon child. I have no desire to become your adopted son. Primarily because..." Lu Di suddenly shifted his tone, smiling at Old Master Yin. "I might have developed an interest in your daughter, Wenwen. 5 million representing respect? What?" Yin Qingwen heard Lu Di's words, and her heart skipped a beat. How frivolous! How vulgar! Lu Di, what nonsense are you speaking? Yin Qingwen abruptly rose to her feet, her charming face turning crimson to the nape of her neck. Haha. The old man Yan's eyes sparkled as if he had found a glimmer of hope. And he laughed heartily. It's entirely normal for young people to be involved in love and affection. Lu Di scratched his head and said, I'm not in a hurry, ultimately. This matter requires Qingwen's consent, doesn't it? I do not consent. Do not call me Qingwen. Yin Qingwen retorted, her frustration palpable. While I do not aspire to join your Yin family, I assume there will be a need for some assistance around Qingwen, right? I could start with a job. Lu Di continued to smile brightly. I have no shortage of people around me. Yin Qingwen stamped her foot in anger. Qingwen, do not be unreasonable. The old man Yin shot a glare at Yin Qingwen and turned to Lu Di. Lu Di, you may choose any position you desire. I will take charge. No one can interfere. After saying this, the old man Yin cast a meaningful glance at Ouyang Fengyu, who was standing nearby. Well, let me think. Lu Di suddenly clapped his hands. I want a position close to Qingwen, so I will be her driver. What? A driver? Everyone was momentarily taken aback. The old man Yin shook his head slightly, as if he had seen through everything, and chuckled. A driver it is. However, Lu Di, our company has a rule. To become Qingwen's driver, you must be on call 24 hours a day. Therefore, you must reside at my Yin family estate. Even if I wish to play chess in the future, you must be readily available, and you cannot refuse me. Lu Di sighed softly. The old man's intentions were unmistakable. He had not given up on the idea of taking Lu Di as his adopted son. On the contrary, he had become even more resolute. No matter who Lu Di was, he had grown accustomed to being unrestrained and loose. Once the matter with Ouyang Fengyu was resolved, if he wished to leave, no one could stop him. The supposed interest in Yin Qingwen was merely an excuse. As for being a driver for the Yin family, that was just a jest. Lu Di simply did not want to see the person he had risked an eye to save fall victim to a mad dog. All right, I accept. Lu Di nodded slightly. You, Lu Di, how can you utter such words so freely? Yin Qingwen was utterly humiliated and enraged. How could her own father be so biased? Favoring this outsider and inexplicably offering to send her away. He had truly managed to entrench himself in our Yin family. Yin Kakai secretly clenched his fist and whispered to Yin Xinshin, look how angry he has made our third sister. We absolutely cannot accept him. We must find a way to drive him away. Finally, the old man Yin was thoroughly satisfied and laughed again. Let us set aside the matter of the driver for now. Regardless, Lu Di is also a benefactor of our Yin family. I have prepared a small token of gratitude, and I hope you will accept it. With that, the old man Yin waved his hand at the butler behind him. The old butler took out a bank card from his pocket and respectfully placed it before Lu Di. Money? Lu Di was momentarily taken aback. Indeed. Money is a valuable asset. He found himself in dire straits, devoid of a home, a vehicle, and employment. Yet, within the confines of the Yin family environment, acquiring such wealth would likely prove to be a formidable challenge. With Ouyang Fengyu eyeing him like a hawk and the Yin sisters, Yin Qingwen and Yin Qingwen, looking down upon him, how could he ever hold his head high after accepting such funds? What of his dignity? Accepting charity would render him vulnerable to humiliation. I cannot accept this money. My intent in aiding others is not driven by a desire for reward, but rather to maintain a clear conscience, Lu Di stated calmly, pushing the card back. Yet, in truth, he yearned for more. His aspiration was to wed Yin Qingwen and seize control of the entire Yin family's wealth. He desired both riches and beauty. Ouyang Fengyu, seething with indignation, could scarcely contain his urge to expose Lu Di's schemes. Oh, is that so? The old master Yin expressed his disappointment, sighing, Lu Di, this 5 million in the card is indeed not substantial, and with your intellect, earning such an amount should not be particularly arduous. However, should you refuse it, I shall feel a pang of guilt. What? 5 million? There are 5 million in this card? Lu Di felt a rush of regret. Dignity, what use is it? How could it compare to the tangible value of 5 million? Magic boy, Lu Di, if you desire money, why did you not speak up sooner? Ding. Lu Di's phone chimed with a notification. You have successfully registered a coal futures trading account. Ding. Your account has incurred an expense of 16,000 yuan. Magic boy, what are you doing? Lu Di exclaimed internally, for he only had 50,000 yuan in his own account. I know you need money. Be patient. Let the data flow for a moment. Magic boy, do you still have the leisure to quote movie lines? Ding. Your account has incurred an expense of 6,000 yuan. Ding. Your account has incurred an expense of 4,000 yuan. The incessant deductions left Lu Di's heart racing. Ding. Your account has received a deposit of 16,240 yuan. Your account has received a deposit of 5,120 yuan. Your account has received. Is there a return? Lu Di's eyes widened in astonishment as the incoming transaction notifications multiplied on his phone. Each was incrementally larger than the previous outflows, by mere tens or hundreds of yuan. Your account has received a deposit of 6,235 yuan. Your account has received a deposit of 15,386 yuan. What is happening? My savings are increasing, and each time. It was by a small amount. The voice of Magic Boy, tinged with amusement, chimed in, I just registered a coal futures trading account in your name. And in such transactions, speed is of the essence. Every millisecond counts as currency. At the moment the market opens, all futures experience slight fluctuations. I utilized your account to swiftly purchase at a low price and then rapidly sell at a minimal profit, capitalizing on mere milliseconds of time difference to generate wealth for you. Only my million-level floating point computing speed could accomplish this. Ding. Your account has been debited. Your account has been credited. The incessant notifications flooded in. Lu Di stood frozen, utterly astonished. What he found most difficult to comprehend was that within a mere minute or two, his account balance had surged from 50,000 to 1,250,000. Although each transaction yielded only a profit of 100 to 500 yuan, the speed of trading was astonishing. Ding, 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 ding. Lu Di's phone was nearly overwhelmed. Mr. Lu, are you all right? It was the butler by old Master Yan's side who spoke, his tone earnest. Upon receiving news of your situation, the master instructed me to look into your details. Learning of your eye condition has left him quite anxious. He is a kind-hearted man. Should you refuse this money, he would feel a deep sense of remorse for the rest of his life. Please, you must accept this 5 million. Lu Di managed a wry smile. In just a few minutes, he realized he hardly needed this 5 million anymore. His account had undergone at least tens of thousands of transactions, and the balance had astonishingly reached 7,500,000. Moreover, it continued to rise. It was unfathomable that an ordinary person might not earn such a sum in a lifetime, yet he had achieved it in merely 5 minutes. Very well. I shall accept it for now, to ease old Yan's mind, he replied, his smile tinged with bitterness, his emotions difficult to articulate. TCH. This Lu Di seeks money while playing hard to get. Shameless. The twin beauties whispered. Haha, then I can rest easy. Old Master Yin finally felt relieved, cheerfully declaring, this afternoon, take Lu Di shopping for clothes. Now that he has become our Yin family's driver, he must dress appropriately. Thus, the luncheon concluded in a relatively harmonious atmosphere. Meanwhile, Lu Di, seizing the opportunity when the Yin family was distracted, discreetly placed the 5 million yuan bank card beneath the tea set in the sunroom on the second floor. In this way, he neither embarrassed old Master Yin nor took advantage of the Yin family. As for the card, it would inevitably be discovered by a member of the Yin family sooner or later. On the 6th floor terrace of the estate, Lu Di stood alone, gazing down at the verdant expanse of the Yin family manor, sprawling over 5 hectares and valued at a staggering 800 million. He couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. The Yin family indeed possessed immense wealth, yet to him, it all seemed excessively ostentatious. Even if he were to acquire such riches, he would prefer a tranquil life amidst picturesque mountains and waters, with a modest vegetable garden and a quaint wooden house. Soft Rice Man. A voice laced with irritation came from behind him. Your sister is waiting for you downstairs. Hurry up and get the car. Humph. Fine. Lu Di sighed and made his way downstairs. Upon entering the garage of the Yin family estate, he was taken aback. The expansive underground garage housed a plethora of luxury vehicles, a Porsche 911S, an Audi R8, a Mercedes AMG GT, a Ferrari 488, a Mercedes G63 AMG, along with several chauffeur-driven cars and business sedans. These were all dream cars, and there were more than a dozen of them at once. After surveying the scene, Lu Di felt a sense of helplessness wash over him. There sat Yin Qingwen, her delicate features adorned with a frown, nestled in an aging Rolls-Royce Ghost. With so many luxurious cars at her disposal, the lifestyle of the Yin family's third miss truly seemed dreadfully monotonous. Knock, 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 hearing a tapping on the glass. Yin Qingwen slowly lowered the window. Today, we shall drive that one. Lu Di cheerfully pointed at the green monster version of the Mercedes GT supercar. You are merely a driver. What gives you the right to dictate my choice? I want to ride in this one, as its seat is far from you. Yin Qingwen's slender brows knitted together, her expression icy. Sighing, Lu Di cast a pitiful glance at the Mercedes sports car, pondering whether he would ever have the chance to drive such a dream vehicle before losing his sight. Upon hearing the words losing sight, Yin Qingwen's body trembled, a wave of guilt washing over her as she sighed. All right, I will heed your suggestion. Just as the two were approaching the Mercedes supercar, a red Lamborghini cruised by, and Ouyang Fingyu leaned out, grinning. Little Lu, planning to drive a supercar? Have you ever done so? Do you know how to start it? Shall I teach you? Ding, the driving skills of 73 former F1 champions have been implanted into the subconscious. Ding, full payment operation manual for supercars has been implanted into the subconscious. Thanks. Demon Child, Lu Di responded, confidently sliding into the sports car. Brother-in-law, this is indeed my first experience driving such a vehicle. You go ahead. And I will take some time to familiarize myself. Haha, clearly lacking in experience. Ouyang Fingyu laughed heartily, flooring the accelerator. The V10 engine of the Lamborghini roared to life, sending a wave of wind as it sped away. On the road, Ouyang Fingyu couldn't resist turning to his sister-in-law, Yin Yiwen, and gritting his teeth, remarked, "This Lu Di is just a sparrow from the slums suddenly perched on a branch." But he will soon realize that entering high society is not as simple as he imagines. Yin Yiwen was momentarily taken aback. Her usually composed husband seemed uncharacteristically agitated today. Back at the Yin family estate, the question lingered. Do you even know how to drive? Yin Qingwen furrowed his brow as he observed Lu Di, who had been gripping the steering wheel for a full 3 minutes. This fellow truly lacked experience. Was he so overwhelmed by such a vehicle? Merely driving was rather mundane. I am awaiting that tortoise to cover 5 kilometers first. The time is nearly upon us. Suddenly, Lu Di turned his head with a grin. Miss San, hold on tight. In the next instant, the Mercedes GT surged to life. Lu Di adeptly disabled the EPS. Engaged sport mode, revved the engine to 6,000 RPM, and launched. With a fierce screech, the tires violently gripped the ground, billowing thick smoke. As the GT bolted forth like an arrow released from its bow. Yin Qingwen tightened her grip on the handle, shrieking incessantly, Lu Di, are you out of your mind? According to statistical probabilities, handsome men driving possess a 12 chance of making women swoon at first sight. Is that so? Then I shall endeavor to be charming. Lu Di abruptly yanked the steering wheel, single-handedly pulling up the handbrake to 80 as they approached a 180-degree turn, causing the Mercedes GT to drift spectacularly. The Yin family estate perched atop a towering hill, with the descent winding down a serpentine road shrouded in tree cover, reminiscent of the fabled hairpin turns. At this moment, the mountains echoed with the roar of the sports car's engine, accompanied by a girl's frantic screams. Ouyang Fingyu's Lamborghini was not lagging, having nearly reached the foot of the mountain. Driving leisurely, Ouyang Fingyu was suddenly taken aback. In the rearview mirror, he spotted the green beast, Lu Di's Mercedes GT, rapidly closing in, its headlights flickering incessantly. Not bad, this kid can drive. Unfortunately, there are always those who surpass you. Your brother-in-law is among the top 3 in the supercar club. Today, you shall learn what it means to be left in the dust. Whoosh. A gust of wind rushed by as the green silhouette darted past his vehicle, leaving only 2 crimson taillights in Ouyang Fingyu's view, quickly receding from sight. What? I was overtaken? Ouyang Fingyu stared blankly at the speedometer, 110 kilometers h. In an instant, he had surpassed me. Just how fast was this guy going? What kind of skill is this? He could scarcely fathom that Lu Di, with his extraordinary experience and precise control, had pushed the 4.0T 639 horsepower V8 engine to its limits. On the 10-kilometer descent, Lu Di averaged a staggering speed of 230 kilometers h. As they continued down the road, Ouyang Fengyu's expression darkened. How he wished to witness the aftermath of Lu Di and Yin Qingwen's car wreck at the roadside. Alas, there was nothing. Absolutely nothing. He is indeed handsome, albeit somewhat impoverished. In the underground parking lot of Hongmao Mall, Lu Di observed Yin Qingwen squatting at a distance, retching incessantly, and felt a twinge of confusion. Had the spell of infatuation, which held a mere 12% chance, failed to cast its enchantment? That girl must be utterly frustrated with you. I realize you truly lack the finesse to engage with women. I shall provide you with some lessons in due course. Shortly thereafter, several Mercedes SUVs entered the parking area, transporting Yin Qingwen's bodyguards clad in black. However, they were swiftly left behind by Lu Di. A cohort of black-clad men emerged from the vehicles, and the tallest among them, nearly 2 meters in height, approached Lu Di with a fierce expression. Mr. Lu, no matter who you are, should you ever harm the third miss again, do not blame me for my lack of civility. Lu Di looked up. Taking note of the man's details, Tai Si, 30 years old, an orphan adopted by the old master Yin, vanished from public view for 6 years after the age of 15, currently serves as a bodyguard for the Yin family, with little additional information available. Such scant information? Lu Di turned his gaze to the other bodyguards. Tai Lu, Tai Chi, Tai Shi-san, all orphans, their backgrounds equally meager. Tai Si through Tai Shi-san. What peculiar names. The old master Yin is indeed benevolent. How many orphans has he taken in? Tai Si, do not engage with him. Let it slide for the sake of your father. Yin Qingwen interjected, stepping forward with a somewhat pallid complexion. Let us go buy some clothes. Lu Di scratched his head, remaining silent, feeling a flicker of remorse for not realizing how delicate Yin Qingwen truly was. Inside the mall, Lu Di and Yin Qingwen led the way, followed by a cadre of towering bodyguards, drawing the attention of numerous bystanders. Look, which prominent figure has graced us with their presence? So many bodyguards. The girl ahead is stunning. What beauty. That boy is even more handsome. They must be celebrities. No ordinary person could possess such striking looks. Which one is the celebrity? I don't recognize them. Surely it's that boy. His appearance is straight out of a comic book. The girl must be his girlfriend, and she is clearly smitten. You are the one who's smitten. Yin Qingwen's displeasure was palpable as she overheard the comments. Lu Di, let us choose this store. They arrived at the entrance of the high-end luxury brand Amani, and Yin Qingwen remarked irritably, No, it's too ugly. Lu Di slightly pouted. Then how about this one? LV? Absolutely not. It's too commonplace. Yin Qingwen's frustration grew, and after a deep breath to contain her anger, she suggested, What about Hermes? No. Lu Di, are you deliberately trying to oppose me? Must you adopt such a dismissive demeanor? Have I promised to marry you? You drive me to the brink of exasperation. I shall choose my own clothes. With that, Lu Di strode forward, heading directly for the staircase. On the 3rd floor, in the ordinary section, they stopped before a store. Yin Qingwen's expression darkened at the sight of Gigi, a brand with an average price of 500 yuan, one she had never worn. Lu Di, is this truly your selection? When I venture out, I will be the subject of ridicule, and my father will scold me. Lu Di paid no heed to Yin Qingwen. Instead, he gazed with a beaming smile at a somewhat flustered young attendant. Lu Di, is that you? The young man finally recognized the person before him. Stepping forward to embrace Lu Di. Where have you been for 3 years? Lu Di chuckled, patting the young man's back. Just encountered a minor issue. Felt too embarrassed to show my face. The minor issue Lu Di referred to was, in fact, the incident that left him blinded. During university, Lu Di was exceptionally gifted. A beacon of attention, with grades that soared above his peers. He was destined for a remarkable future. However, the aftermath of his eye injury shattered that potential. He suffered from constant headaches, rendering him nearly incapable of any task. Proud by nature, Lu Di chose to conceal this side of himself from his classmates, opting instead for solitude and silent suffering. The young man before him was none other than his university classmate and dear friend, Ajia. Ajia, haven't Ti returned? Lu Di smiled. That's fantastic. Little Scamp has finally come back. Ajia exclaimed with uncontainable excitement, adding, But my performance doesn't matter. It's all for Li Li. Lu Di paused, realizing that 3 years had not changed Ajia at all. Like Lu Di, Ajia was an outstanding student at Haishur University. Yet, he chose to work here as a shop attendant, all because of a woman, Sun Lily. So, have you made any progress? Lu Di teased, casting a mischievous glance at Ajia. Almost. Ajia bashfully scratched his head and turned to call out, Lily, come see who is here. Who? Ajia, are you annoying? Can't you handle it yourself? In response, a beautiful woman in a short skirt emerged from the store. Her long, wavy purple hair and curvaceous figure were striking. However, when she laid eyes on Lu Di, a flicker of disdain crossed her gaze. Subsequently, upon noticing the imposing presence of Yin Qingwen and the entourage of black-clad bodyguards behind Lu Di, her expression shifted in surprise. Lu Di, long time no see. Have you struck it rich? Sun Lily's demeanor transformed instantly, her tone now ingratiating as she sashayed closer, accentuating her alluring figure. Lu Di frowned. It was evident from Sun Lily's attitude that she had not changed. During their university days, she mingled with a rough crowd, frequently disappearing for nights on end, ultimately leading to her expulsion from school. Later, she entered the business world, managing this very clothing store. The most foolish of all was Ajia, who remained infatuated with such a woman and willingly worked here. Lu Di, is this your girlfriend? She's stunning. She must be from a wealthy family, right? Sun Lily flattered. She is merely my driver, Yin Qingwen replied coldly. So you're just a driver? Humph. Sun Lily's expression soured instantly, and she brazenly turned to leave. Instructing Ajia, you take care of this. Just grab a few items for him. But remember, keep it under 300 yuan. I fear Lu Di can't afford more. Sun Lily's blatant snobbery was all too apparent. Even Yin Qingwen frowned, clearly expressing her disdain. Hiki, Lu Di, I apologize. Lily has not been in the best of spirits lately. Ajia's expression appeared somewhat awkward as he hurriedly welcomed Lu Di into the house. What attire will you be trying today? I shall fetch it for you. All at a discount, haha. Sigh. Lu Di exhaled softly, shaking his head slightly as he replied to Ajia. I shall stick to my usual choices, the 3 pieces I adore most. Ah, I am quite familiar with your preferences. Just wait a moment. Ajia exclaimed cheerfully before turning to retrieve the items. The usual choices? The 3 beloved pieces? Yin Qingwen could not help but feel a twinge of curiosity as she quietly anticipated Lu Di's fashion sense. 10 minutes later, Lu Di emerged from the fitting room. He wore a pristine, form-fitting white shirt devoid of any embellishments, with the sleeves rolled up to his elbows. Below, he donned a pair of slender, light blue jeans, complemented by classic canvas sneakers. With Lu Di's strikingly handsome and devilishly charming visage, it was as though a sudden spring breeze had swept through, simple yet undeniably captivating. The eyes of several sales clerks in the store widened in astonishment. How could such a handsome man exist? He resembled a character straight out of a comic. Yin Qingwen found herself momentarily breathless. Indeed, he was remarkably handsome, easily beguiling. Even the discerning Sun Lily felt a stir within her heart. Lu Di was undeniably attractive, though somewhat lacking in wealth. Otherwise, with that face alone, she would be willing to dedicate an entire week of devotion. 13. A peculiar pairing scheme, quite remarkable. Beside him, Ajia clapped his hands in approval. Lu Di, this is the epitome of you, the illustrious gentleman from the Business Administration Department of Haishur University. Haha. Lu Di glanced at his reflection in the mirror, a subtle smile gracing his lips. The version of himself that once brimmed with youthful vigor and confidence seemed to have returned. The shirt cost 368 yuan, the trousers 400 yuan, and the shoes 330 yuan. Please proceed to the front desk for checkout, came the impatient voice of Sun Lily from nearby. At this moment, Yin Qingwen also regained her composure, furrowing her brow. While it was indeed attractive, it was also exceedingly inexpensive. It was hardly distinguishable from street vendor merchandise. Hey, Lily, Lu Di is our old classmate. Can we offer him a discount? Ajia jested. Sure, I can deduct it from your commission. No need, Lu Di replied casually as he adjusted his sleeves. My purchase counts as Ajia's, right? 3 pieces of clothing, each bundled with 200 sets. What? Lu Di, did I hear that correctly? Ajia exclaimed in astonishment. Lu Di chuckled. Have you forgotten? Throughout my 4 years in college, I've always donned this style without fail. It's only natural to stock up on a few more. Lu Di, how did you suddenly come into such wealth? Ajia's eyes widened, and he inadvertently caught sight of Yin Qingwen in the distance, a sudden realization dawning upon him. Could it be that you have a benefactor? Yin Qingwen finally understood. Indeed, Lu Di had chosen inexpensive clothing, but to request 200 sets at once? Truly, a sign of someone lacking ambition. Oh well, it's not a substantial amount anyway. Yin Qingwen waved her hand, signaling her assistant Tai Si to step forward to handle the payment. Benefactor, my foot. Lu Di interjected, extending his card. It's just a little over 200,000. Let's settle this. As for the balance on that card, even Lu Di was unaware of the exact figure. He only knew that, an hour prior to checking, the balance had already reached 34 million. Meanwhile, Tai Si looked at Yin Qingwen in confusion. Yin Qingwen merely shook her head, acknowledging that this lad had some integrity, remembering the 5 million his father had previously given him. Following this, the entire staff at the GOG store mobilized to package Lu Di's unprecedented order. Lu Di then led Yin Qingwen outside to the Zippo lighter display. After surveying the selection, he pointed to an exquisite copper lighter at the counter. I'll take that one. Good day, sir. This is our limited edition Zippo for the 75th anniversary, adorned with a 2-carat matte blood diamond, priced at 1,030,000. The salesperson was polite yet somewhat hesitant. Sir, are you certain you wish to proceed? I'll pay, Lu Di replied nonchalantly, pulling out his bank card. Oh, very well. The attractive saleswoman was momentarily at a loss for words. Yin Qingwen was utterly bewildered. Lu Di, have you lost your mind? A 300 yuan shirt paired with a 1 million yuan lighter? Are you discerning or just foolish? Lu Di had already grasped the Zippo in his hand, the luxurious lighter twirling deftly between his fingers. What do you know? I indulge in smoking, hence I require a reliable lighter. Aren't you also fiddling with that metallic ballpoint pen every day? A man must possess at least one item that he can proudly showcase. With a swift motion, Lu Di flicked open the lighter's lid, taking a moment to admire it under the light, an economical choice for a bus ride to the bar. Yin Qingwen was momentarily rendered speechless. Sir, here is your bank card. The transaction has been successfully completed. The beautiful saleswoman bent gracefully to present the card, her demeanor exceptionally respectful. Lu Di retrieved the card, his voice low and contemplative. Upon seeing such a fine lighter, I find myself yearning for a smoke. Please wait for me here. With that, he turned without a glance and headed towards the smoking area. What a lunatic! How perverse! Yin Qingwen stood frozen, her foot tapping in frustration. 10 minutes later, Yin Qingwen glared at Lu Di as he returned, his left hand clutching 2 ice cream cones and his right hand holding 3 hamburgers. In the mere span of less than 50 meters, he had devoured all 3 hamburgers. Such an insatiable appetite. He had just consumed a substantial lunch, and now he was indulging in 3 hamburgers. Who on earth is this guy? In truth, Lu Di himself was somewhat at a loss for words. The efficiency of the demon child was simply too remarkable. In under 2 hours, his energy had been fully depleted once more, and his bodily functions had surged by an additional 13. Suddenly, a long, fair hand extended towards Yin Qingwen. Holding a creamy ice cream cone, Lu Di gazed at her with a beaming smile. This is merely cheap junk food. I shall not partake, Yin Qingwen retorted, turning her head away. It's quite expensive, 3 yuan. Be a good girl. The way he said good girl sent shivers down Yin Qingwen's spine, and in a daze, she accepted the ice cream cone, frowning as she warned, Lu Di, if I feel unwell later, it will be your fault. She tentatively licked it, and in the next moment, she gasped, heavens, how sweet. It turned out this treat was delicious. She adored it. Yin Qingwen wore a look of pure bliss. Lu Di chuckled softly. You truly needn't wear such a stern expression daily. A young lady ought to embrace her femininity. If something delights you, express it. Go away, Yin Qingwen retorted, turning her back, not wishing for Lu Di to witness her eating. At that moment, Lu Di caught a whiff of a delightful fragrance wafting behind him. When he turned to look, he found Sun Lily standing there, fidgeting coyly, playfully tossing her hair and accentuating her ample bosom. Lu Di, can you believe that after all these years as classmates, we don't even have each other on WeChat? Sun Lily struck a flirtatious pose, making a concerted effort to entice Lu Di. She had observed everything clearly from inside the shop. Lu Di had nonchalantly purchased a Zippo Diamond Limited Edition worth 1 million. 1 million for a mere lighter. How wealthy must Lu Di be? A fortune exceeding 10 million? Sun Lily found herself unable to restrain her excitement. This charming young man, both affluent and handsome, must be captured. Shall we exchange WeChat? In the quiet of the night, when you find yourself bored, we could chat. Sun Lily tossed a flirtatious glance his way. Lu Di pondered for a moment and inquired, "Do you have City Yan's WeChat?" City Yan? Lu Di's former girlfriend from university? Had they parted ways? Was Lu Di contemplating reconciliation? It bore certain risks, yet it also presented an opportunity. Indeed, add me, and I can connect you with her. Sun Lily affirmed. Scan this. Lu Di extended his phone towards Sun Lily. Coincidentally, a text message regarding Imotong's Futures operation arrived simultaneously. Your account has received a deposit of 234,500. Balance 123,005, 323 yuan. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. My goodness, 120 million. He was extraordinarily wealthy. Sun Lily suppressed her excitement and gracefully scanned Lu Di's QR code, successfully adding him as a friend. Is this a horror film? 200 outfits are excessively overwhelming. Yin Xingwen had no choice but to instruct Tai Si and the others to return the garments to the estate. Lu Di patted a Jia on the shoulder, casting him a meaningful glance, suggesting that he would involve him in future endeavors when the opportunity arose. After Lu Di and his companions departed, Sun Lily promptly concealed herself behind a shelf. She was determined to capture the attention of the affluent and handsome Lu Di. As for Jia, whom she regarded as nothing more than a sycophant, she had never considered him worthy of her regard. Excitedly, she cradled her phone, rehearsing in her mind how to initiate a conversation with Lu Di. Sun Lily, Lu Di Gidge, are you there? Lu Di, Sun Lily, I will send you Situ Yan's WeChat, but don't be too disheartened. Xiaoyan currently has a boyfriend, a wealthy second generation chosen by her mother. Sun Lily, but I am single at the moment. If you feel bored, I can come to find you tonight. Subsequently, she forwarded Situ Yan's business card. She added, Lu Di, I know a delightful bar where there's a drink called Lost Body Wine. What do you think? Sun Lily suppressed her excitement. These lines were her forte, nearly irresistible to any man. Send. Beep. The other party is no longer your friend. To continue chatting, please send a friend request. What the heck? What is going on? He actually blocked me. Not even a word of explanation. Furious, Sun Lily hurled her phone away. Scoundrel. Meanwhile, at the Yin family estate, Yin Kaikai and Yin Xinxin glared indignantly at Tai Si and his group as they lugged back bundles of clothing. How many outfits did he buy? And how much did it cost my sister? He truly is focused solely on money. This has completely shattered my worldview. Infuriating, Yin Kaikai's mind began to churn. Xinxin, we cannot allow that despicable Lu Di to have it easy. I have a plan, let us do it this way. The two young ladies began to plot, unable to suppress their mischievous laughter. After Yin Xingwen and Lu Di left the mall, Lu Di drove directly to the northern part of Haisher Wahai district. Yin Xingwen glanced at the low 3-story building before her, then surveyed the surroundings, gradually knitting her brows. This place was etched in her memory, as it was where she had been cornered by thugs 3 years prior. Lu Di, why have you brought me here? Are you reminding me of the time you risked your life to save me, implying I owe you an enormous debt of gratitude? Lu Di shook his head helplessly, thinking to himself that her assumptions were rather tedious. Yin Xingwen followed Lu Di as he pushed open the dilapidated wooden door of the 3-story building. A strong scent of disinfectant and blood assaulted her senses. Inside the hall, filthy windows allowed mottled sunlight to filter through. The shabby room was furnished with a dozen hospital beds, some occupied by patients wrapped in blood-soaked bandages or receiving intravenous drips. The floor was littered with bloodstains, syringes, and scattered medication vials, a chaotic scene. It was akin to a ghastly scene from a horror film, reminiscent of a bloody hospital. Lu Di, what place is this? Yin Xingwen immediately felt a surge of anxiety, retreating behind Lu Di and gripping his arm tightly. Lu Di remained silent, walking forward with an air of indifference. Ahead, an elderly man with disheveled hair, clad in a tattered white coat, held a sharp steel rod in his hand. measuring it against the chest of a middle-aged man who had succumbed to unconsciousness. As Lu Di and Yin Qingwen approached, she let out a sudden scream upon realizing the situation. A small Z had been drawn on the unconscious man's chest with a marker. Was this a target? Was the old man intending to pierce this man's chest? Grandfather Tua, Lu Di gently called out. The elder did not turn his head, responding with irritation. Little Lu Di, have your girl keep quiet for a moment. I am in the midst of saving a life. From Lu Di's perspective, the mischievous spirit had already deduced the unconscious man's ailment. Grandfather Tuo's method was undoubtedly the most effective and expedient solution. That seemingly hasty little swaz marked with precision, devoid of any error. With a swift motion, the glint of the steel rod flashed as Grandfather Tuo plunged it directly into the unconscious man's abdomen. In the next instant, blood gushed forth, accompanied by a yellowish, viscous fluid. Just as Yin Qingwen was about to scream, Lu Di swiftly covered her mouth. As the viscous fluid poured out, the middle-aged man's furrowed brows gradually relaxed. His ailment had been effectively alleviated. He was suffering from pleural effusion. And you chose this method to help him drain it? Yin Qingwen stared in disbelief, then exclaimed loudly, "Your method is far too reckless. There are no auxiliary instruments. No sterilization. This is utterly irresponsible." Only then did Grandfather Tua turn his head languidly, saying, "Little Lu Di, your girl seems to possess quite a bit of knowledge. But I do not approve of this marriage. She is too noisy. Who are you to grant your approval?" Yin Qingwen blurted out half a sentence before suddenly realizing her mistake. "Pa, I would never marry him, since you claim to possess medical skills. Then I shall leave the remaining bandaging work to you." Grandfather Tua waved dismissively at Yin Qingwen and turned back to Lu Di, saying, "Little Lu Di, what brings you here? Why didn't you bring me any wine?" Lu Di chuckled heartily, guiding Grandfather Tua to one side. "Grandfather, I've made some money." Yin Qingwen, feeling dejected, tended to the patient's wounds while occasionally stealing glances at the distance where Lu Di and Grandfather Tua conversed. Grandfather Tua, though appearing nonchalant, cast a glance at Lu Di that was both appreciative and somewhat proud. Half an hour later, Yin Qingwen sat in the car, utterly puzzled. She watched as Grandfather Tua waved goodbye to her, and Lu Di from the entrance of the dilapidated building, alongside several children seated in wheelchairs. Those children were pitiable, some having lost their arms, others their legs. Yet, they all smiled brightly, calling Lu Di Big Brother. On the way back to the manor, Yin Qingwen could no longer contain her curiosity. What exactly was that place? A hospital, Lu Di replied. Lu Di rested one hand upon the steering wheel, his spirits buoyant. Master Tua was the sole physician in that locality, devoted to healing the impoverished who could not afford medical care. Yin Qingwen felt a jolt of astonishment. What was the story behind those children? They were homeless orphans, victims of a criminal syndicate that had rendered them disabled, forcing them to beg until they reached a certain age, only to be discarded thereafter. It was Master Tua who took them in. Lu Di spoke slowly. Yet within Yin Qingwen's heart, tumultuous waves of emotion surged. No wonder the place was so dilapidated. No wonder there were so many children. Master Tua was indeed a good man. In a moment of regret, Yin Qingwen lamented his earlier outburst towards Master Tua. But how did you come to know him? With a snap, Lu Di flicked open his Zippo and lit a cigarette. 3 years ago, on the night I was brutally blinded, I lay by the roadside for half an hour, with no one coming to my aid. Just as my lifeblood was nearly drained, it was Master Tua who saved me. A jest aimed at Lu Di, a thunderclap resounded in Yin Qingwen's mind. In an instant, she comprehended everything. Lu Di, I am truly sorry. Yin Qingwen clutched her garment tightly, tears shimmering in the corners of her eyes. Do you feel guilty now? A sly smile crept across Lu Di's lips, suggesting that if she were to offer herself, all would be forgiven. Scoundrel. Shameless. Leave. Yin Qingwen turned her head, realizing that Lu Di was indeed no good. Haha. Lu Di pressed the accelerator, and the Mercedes GT sped towards the Yin family estate. Inside the car, an unsettling silence enveloped them for a full 10 minutes. Finally, Yin Qingwen summoned her courage. Lu Di, I wish to assist Grandpa Tua and his hospital. No need, Lu Di replied indifferently. Why? I perceive they are in dire need of funds. Yin Qingwen queried, perplexed. I recently left them some money, Lu Di remarked, a faint smile gracing his lips. How much? Not much, for million. What? For million? Yin Qingwen was even more astonished. Her father had provided Lu Di with 5 million in total, and he had already spent over 1 million on clothes and a lighter. So, this 4 million must be all that remains of Lu Di's funds? One moment he buys clothing worth 300, the next a lighter for 1 million, and now he donates 4 million? A miser, a lecher, a glutton, stingy yet generous. Kind-hearted yet proud, grateful yet enigmatic. What kind of person is Lu Di? In Yin Qingwen's eyes, Lu Di became increasingly inscrutable. So, have you run out of money? Yin Qingwen cautiously inquired. As for this question, Lu Di genuinely found himself at a loss for words. His account currently held 300 million. Not only had he donated 4 million to Grandpa Tua, but he had also transferred 500,000 to his mother working back home. He hesitated to send more to his mother, fearing she might not accept it. He even lied about the 50,000, claiming it was from a lottery win. You need not concern yourself with my affairs. Simply take care of yourself. Lu Di replied nonchalantly. Yet in Yin Qingwen's eyes, this was a stubborn, humble form of dignity. I have no interest in your matters. I merely wish to donate more to Grandpa Tua. Lu Di scoffed. Save your breath. Grandpa Tua has no need for your assistance, and he certainly looks down upon your Ingji group. Lu Di had previously been unaware of Grandpa Tuo's true identity. However, he now possessed knowledge of the magical child. Grandpa Tua, whose real name is Chu He, is also known as Chu Huatuo. 30 years ago, he was already a leading medical professor in Huaxia, renowned worldwide. The current medical industry giant, Ingji Group, was established on the foundation of a patent from Grandpa Tua. It remains a mystery why, 10 years ago, he suddenly chose to live incognito and dedicate himself to this free hospital, becoming a volunteer doctor. Yin Qingwen found herself once again rendered speechless by Lu Di. She could not discern his character, but one thing was certain. He was undoubtedly an annoying individual. By the time the two returned to the estate, it was already dusk. After disembarking, Yin Qingwen took a deep breath, overwhelmed by the absurdity of the day that had finally come to a close. Sister San, you have returned. She spotted Yin Kai and Yin Xinxin eagerly waiting at the entrance of the estate. Soft meal. Lu Di, we've been waiting for you for quite a while. Yin Kai exclaimed joyfully, bouncing over to Lu Di. Your room is all set, meticulously arranged by Xinxin and me. Here, take the key. Lu Di offered a subtle smile. Sensing from the girl's expressions that this was unlikely to bode well, oblivious to the undercurrents, Yin Qingwen expressed her gratitude. Fourth sister, fifth sister, you truly are considerate. Taking the initiative to prepare the room. Which floor is it on? Basement level 2, the innermost room. Yin Kai replied with a grin. Yin Qingwen hesitated. Basement 2? The cellar? Yes. What's wrong? Sister San, let us not forget that Lu Di is your driver. Are we expected to house him in a suite upstairs? I fear he might sneak into my room at night. Yin Kai said, scrunching her nose. Lu Di, however, was unfazed as he approached, accepting the key from her hand with a calm, thank you. Oh my, his eyes are so enchanting. Yin Kai's heart raced. Perhaps being invited into the room wouldn't be such a loss after all. Kai, do not be deceived by his charms. Remember our grand plan. Yin Xinxin whispered from behind. Observing Lu Di's solitary figure as he entered the main building, Yin Qingwen felt a pang of conflict. Was this truly fair to him? Of course. What could possibly be wrong? A soft meal man, a scammer, who dares to seek Sister San's affections. They both declared with indignation. Indeed, we must not allow this pest to benefit. With that, the two young girls dashed off in delight, eager to return to their room in the basement where they had not only set traps for Lu Di, but had also installed various surveillance cameras. My, this estate's main building is truly vast. Even the corridor of the basement level is remarkably long. Lu Di marveled at the dimly lit hallway from the staircase. Magic boy, Lu Di, shall I predict your impending misfortune? Haha, it's utterly hilarious. Lu Di sighed resignedly. All right then. On the 5th floor, Yin Kai and Yin Xinxin lay on the bed, eagerly clutching a tablet. Look quickly, the soft meal man has reached the corridor. Kai, is this right or wrong? What? I can't wait. Haha. On the screen, Lu Di pressed the light switch on the wall, only to find it unresponsive. Haha, foolish Lu Di. I severed the wiring long ago. Sighing in boredom, Lu Di waved his arm lightly. Suddenly, the corridor was illuminated. In a mansion of such grandeur as the Yin family estate, a smart home system was a given. For the magic boy, controlling it all was a mere trifle. Wait, why did the lights suddenly turn on? The two young ladies were momentarily taken aback, their eyes wide with disbelief. Before them, Lu Di effortlessly traversed the tripwire that lay in his path. With a swift sidestep, he evaded the plastic skeleton that plummeted from the ceiling. Nonchalantly, he seized a chair nearby, using it to shield himself from a contraption that unleashed a cloud of flour. Subsequently, Lu Di lingered for a few seconds in place. Suddenly, a flurry of eggs cascaded from beneath the table, splattering against the wall across the room. Lu Di strolled through the entire array of traps with an air of effortless grace. Impossible. How did he evade every single one? I specifically enlisted a master of pranks to set this up. Hold on. Don't be hasty. There is one last trap he surely cannot escape. In the footage, Lu Di reached the end of the corridor, standing before the door to his room. Just as he turned the handle, the tablet flickered with static and then went dark. This is absurd. The two young ladies stood frozen in place. 16. A promising future the moment Lu Di opened the door. He heard the sound of a wire snapping above him, followed by a deluge of ink cascading down. However, Lu Di was well prepared, standing at 180 centimeters tall. He swiftly extended his arms to catch the ink pot. Simultaneously, he noticed twinkling points of light on the ground, scattered glass marbles. Just then, Lu Di's foot slipped, and he executed a flawless backflip, spinning gracefully in a silent 360-degree rotation. He landed effortlessly, the ink pot remaining perfectly level in his hands, not a single drop spilled. Regulating his breath, Lu Di gazed at the data before him, a smile gradually forming at the corners of his mouth. Strength enhancement, 568. With a single punch now capable of approximately 280 kilograms. Reaction speed enhancement, 354, with a response time of 0.3 seconds. Precision enhancement, 400. With a margin of error of merely 3.6 millimeters. All values exceeded those of an ordinary person by 3 to 4 times. He could hardly believe the astounding transformation that had occurred within just one day. The recent display of agility was intentional, a test to ascertain the extent of his physical capabilities. As he looked at the gently rippling ink in the basin, Lu Di felt an immense sense of satisfaction. The feeling of being in control was exhilarating. He illuminated the room. Although it was a basement, the decor was not lacking, after all. It was part of the multi-million-dollar Yin family estate. Yet, the faint musty odor wafting through reminded Lu Di that this basement had likely not been inhabited for years. He surveyed his surroundings. An elegant European-style bed, a stylish desk, a wardrobe, and a private bathroom. Everything one would need for a temporary stay. An antique piano in the corner caught Lu Di's attention. Reflecting on his childhood, he recalled how his mother had always hoped he would become a piano virtuoso. Curiously, he opened the piano and pressed the keys gently. A crisp sound resonated, but Lu Di was well aware that the piano was out of tune. Its age and loosened strings contributed to the discordance. The subconscious integration with a top-tier tuner is complete. Integration with the playing techniques of 108 pianists is complete. At that moment, the playful voice of the mischievous spirit chimed in. Buy one, get one free. Integration of the singing techniques of high, medium, and low vocalists, along with those of popular singers, is complete. Lu Di chuckled. Maotong, are you trying to help me fulfill my childhood dream? The long night stretched on, sleep eluding him, and he decided to indulge in a little musical entertainment. 10 minutes later, brushing off the dust from his hands, he pressed the keys once more. And this ancient, unknown piano seemed to come alive. The strings resonated with clarity and beauty. Taking a deep breath, Lu Di settled himself before the piano. His back straight and his expression serene as still water. His fingers danced over the keys, and the mastery of 100 piano virtuosos surged forth. The sound of the antique piano filled the air, soothing and ethereal. Subsequently, Lu Di began to hum dreamily. With his divine vocal techniques, even a mere pause could evoke boundless imagination. Then, Lu Di slowly began to speak. A collection of words from his heart was meticulously crafted and sung with rhythm. In those tempestuous days, the wind howled as it swept through. We did not fear, as the sea engulfed us and the fierce winds surged. We endured the pitch-black nights, the gusty winds, and the torrential rains as they beat against the darkness, stirring the waves of the streets. I pondered deeply upon the direction of the wind, the extension of the night, and the outcome of blossoming flowers. A power long forgotten suddenly surged back in the unanticipated night. The future is promising. As the song reached its conclusion, Ludi's voice transcended into an ethereal realm, reaching the pinnacle of a C5 vocal range. This sound did not erupt abruptly. It flowed like a gentle stream, gradually ascending into a celestial realm. The wine glass on the nearby cabinet had developed fine cracks from the resonance. How delightful! Truly. The realm of human artistry is unfathomable. There was a hint of excitement in the tone of the mischievous spirit. Ding. Video upload complete. Mischievous spirit? Haha. Such a beautiful song. It would be a pity for me to enjoy it alone, so I turned it into a video and posted it online. A segment of video appeared in Ludi's view. The background had been edited. In the pitch darkness, a beam of light illuminated a tall, young figure seated before a piano, immersed in the moment, passionately singing. Ludi's view. The cabinet had a 5 vocal range. This sound did not erupt abruptly. It flowed like a gentle stream, gradually ascending into a celestial realm. The wine glass on the nearby cabinet had developed fine cracks from the resonance. How delightful! Truly. The realm of human artistry is unfathomable. There was a hint of excitement in the tone of the mischievous spirit. Ding. Video upload complete. Mischievous spirit? Haha. Such a beautiful song. It would be a pity for me to enjoy it alone, so I turned it into a video and posted it online. A segment of video appeared in Ludi's view. The background had been edited. In the pitch darkness, a beam of light illuminated a tall, young figure seated before a piano, immersed in the moment, passionately singing a song from his heart. The title of the song, The Future is Promising. Publisher, D. Ludi smiled gently. Since his face was not revealed, let everyone appreciate it. However, the name D was quite intriguing. Ludi D. On the Douyin platform, an account named D with 0 followers was quietly registered. It merely published a single video, a young man singing from behind, 1,000 miles away. An office worker was having dinner at a street stall and accidentally stumbled upon it. As the piano melody played, the office worker, in the midst of enjoying his ramen, was instantly captivated, tilting his head to listen intently. Gradually, his expression froze, the ramen suspended in midair, forgotten. I pondered deeply the direction of the wind, the extension of the night, and the outcome of blossoming flowers. When the crystal-clear high notes, reminiscent of a dreamlike world, resonated, he felt a shiver run down his spine, covered in goosebumps. Is it truly sung by a human? The office worker turned around, only to find a crowd had gathered behind him, all with astonished expressions. This song is too beautiful. What is its name? Who is the singer? The crowd scrambled, snatching the office worker's phone. It's on Douyin. I want to follow him. Ludi, lying in bed with his eyes closed, had long grown accustomed to the incessant vibrations of his phone. The mischievous spirit's operations had not ceased. When Ludi picked up his phone, his expression suddenly froze. The notifications on his Douyin icon showed 999, over 102,000 private messages, 2 million comments, 2 million likes, and 4 million views. Among the comments, oh my, is this a deity? The grandeur of this voice is astounding. The pitch rises and falls dramatically, resonating with deep emotion and overwhelming power, lingering in the air. Is there anyone capable of reaching such heights? My room is enveloped in silence, so profound that I can hear my own heartbeat. I am profoundly moved by his voice. I wish to escape into this reverie. Who are you? I will dedicate my entire life to finding you. With my top-notch sound system, my room vibrated with resonance, causing my fish tank to crack. Such divine high notes. This must be the fabled celestial sound. Observing the young man's silhouette, he appears to be akin to a god, transcending the mundane realm. Your lyrics, they evoke the hardships I have endured, yet simultaneously bestow upon me hope and strength. I can truly feel it. You cannot comprehend. This song is not merely melodious. Both the lyrics and composition are masterpieces. I am enamored. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? In the realm of Michelin 3-star culinary artistry, a flurry of messages ensues. One message reads, "Greetings, Mr. D.E. May I inquire if you are signed with a management agency? Another asks, might you be available for a commercial performance? Please propose your price. A director introduces himself. Hello. We are from the variety show Universal Singing God, and I would like to discuss a potential collaboration. Could you kindly provide me with your contact information? Then, a fan queries. Dear sir, do you have a girlfriend? I stand at 175 centimeters, weigh 56 kilograms, and my measurements are. Meanwhile, another ardent admirer exclaims, Brother D.E. I love you. Do you dare to reply to me? Countless comments and messages flood in, predominantly filled with admiration, performance invitations, and fervent fans eager to meet in person. This all transpires within a mere half hour. In this era of social media, the power of the internet is indeed formidable. D.E. cast his phone aside, harboring no interest in this path of entertainment. His thoughts are consumed by a burgeoning entrepreneurial dream that grows increasingly fervent. At this moment, a comprehensive business plan begins to take shape in his mind. On the 5th floor, within a lavish bedroom, Yin Xinshin grows ever more frustrated. Why did her meticulously crafted trap fail to ensnare that insufferable Lu Di? The malfunctioning surveillance camera proved disastrous at a critical juncture. Kai-Dai, come. Let us descend to the basement. The glass ball mechanism in the room must have captured Lu Di's plight. I must witness his misfortune. Kai-Tai, did you hear me? She turns to find Yin Kai-Dai sprawled on the bed, headphones on, utterly engrossed in her iPad. On the screen, a figure plays the piano from a distance. Kai-Dai, you little infatuated girl, what is so captivating about this pretentious video? Xinshin, listen, this person's voice is simply enchanting. At this moment, Yin Kai-Tai is utterly entranced, her large, fluffy eyes glistening with unshed tears. Ugh, as Xinshin dons the headphones, silence envelopes her. The ethereal melody dances in her ears, first resembling a mountain stream, then transforming into a wisp of smoke, gradually ascending to the mountain peak, ultimately merging into the vast ocean of clouds, magnificent and grand. Not only is the vocal performance celestial, but the accompanying piano is of exceptional quality. Yin Xinshin, a musical prodigy and a seasoned online broadcaster, finds the singer's vocal prowess, piano mastery, and the arrangement of the song far surpassing any musical work available in the market. She is left utterly astounded. This is utterly marvelous. Kai-Dai, Kai-Dai. I feel as though I'm losing my mind. Who is he? Yin Kai-Tai, equally captivated, replies, I don't know. He is shrouded in mystery. There is only this one video. Title DE, and he currently boasts 6 million followers. Kai-Dai, I have made my decision. I have finally determined my life's goal. Yin Xinshin declares, tears streaming down her face. I want to marry him. I must marry him. No way, Xinshin. I discovered him first. You cannot steal my husband. We are sisters. What do you mean, no way? I insist. I will marry him. Suddenly, a familiar sound emanates from Lu Di's stomach as he ponders in silence. He finds himself hungry once more. As Lu Di glanced at his phone, he realized it was already 10 p.m. Sigh. It seemed he had no choice but to venture into the kitchen in search of something to eat. Springing to his feet, he made his way to the kitchen. Just as he pushed open the door, 2 abrupt shrieks startled him. Following that, a hissing sound erupted, defensive spray. Fortunately, Lu Di possessed remarkable reflexes, swiftly evading the mist. What are you doing? He inquired, his brow furrowed, fixing his gaze upon the 2 young ladies, who were paralyzed with fear, clutching their defensive spray. Pervert, one exclaimed. Pervert? This is my room. Lu Di retorted. The 2 were none other than Yin Kai-Kai and Yin Xinshin. Despite the allure of Di's melodious voice, they were unwilling to concede defeat in their prank against Lu Di. Just 5 minutes prior, they had stealthily approached Lu Di's door, armed with defensive spray. Just as they were about to peek through the door, Lu Di had suddenly appeared. Oh, you. Indecency. Lu Di, I must tell you, you cannot stay in my house. Especially not pursue Sanjia. I warn you, as long as we are here. Suddenly realizing he had vanished, the 2 young women were left bewildered. Kai-Kai, let's follow him and see what he intends to do. That scoundrel might be heading to Sanjia's door. In the kitchen, Chef Zhang smiled and nodded at Lu Di. Mr. Lu, how may I assist you? Lu Di scratched his head and replied, I'm a bit hungry. May I ask? Zhang Ma, do not prepare food for this fraud. The two young ladies shouted from afar. They were at a loss for words. It turned out this glutton was hungry again. Want to eat? Not a chance. Seeing Zhang Ma's troubled expression, Lu Di shook his head helplessly. Zhang Ma, please take a break. I'll manage. Ding. The little demon has arrived. Michelin 3-star chef technique subconscious fusion complete. Lu Di smiled slightly. He was going to cook himself? Humph. At his age, how could he possibly cook? He probably had only learned something like tomato scrambled eggs from the internet, and had never succeeded. Kai, let us watch and see if he turns the food into a culinary disaster and how he'll deal with it. Then, Yen Xin whispered in Yen Kai's ear, let us charge him for wasting ingredients. That will drive him crazy. Hee, good idea. With mischievous smiles on their faces. The two young ladies watched Lu Di with renewed anticipation. Stretching his limbs, Lu Di tied on an apron and slowly rolled up the sleeves of his white shirt. Scanning the kitchen ingredients, he determined what to prepare. He rinsed the rice 3 times, placed it in the rice cooker, and before turning on the heat, added a drop of vegetable oil. Next, he chopped fresh scallions, cracked an egg, and diced a few pieces of preserved plum. Was he making fried rice? The two young ladies were momentarily taken aback once again. A pristine white shirt, an exquisite apron, and deft culinary skills. Who proclaimed that a man who cooks earnestly is the most handsome. How right he is. The display is quite impressive, but after all this effort, it culminates in merely a plate of fried rice? Furthermore, why on earth does he add preserved plums to the fried rice? Such reckless experimentation. Yin Kai suddenly recalled that the soft man, Lu Di, seated before her was her sworn nemesis, and she couldn't help but sneer. What good is good looks if they are merely superficial? As the fragrant rice emerged from the pot, Lu Di meticulously spread it onto a baking tray and placed it into the oven, setting the timer for 4 minutes. What kind of technique is this? This is not what the internet endorses. The two young ladies were utterly bewildered. When the rice was taken out of the oven, the moisture had evaporated. Each grain distinctly separated, emanating a delicate aroma. At this singular moment, the two young beauties found themselves salivating. Then, Lu Di commenced to stir-fry the rice. He added the egg mixture, scallions, and diced preserved plums in succession. Flames danced as he performed his culinary acrobatics. The two young ladies were momentarily spellbound. It was nothing short of a performance. Once the dish was ready, the two beauties rushed over. It smelled divine. The plate of fried rice was a glorious golden hue, adorned with vibrant green scallions and ruby-red bits of preserved plum, rendering it utterly irresistible. Why was the rice golden? Where were the eggs? Gulp! Yin Kai swallowed hard. None of that mattered, for she simply craved a taste. Do you still want your pride? Lu Di removed his apron and sat down nonchalantly. Would you care for a taste? We wouldn't want any. We have our dignity. Hee, very well. Lu Di took a spoonful of fried rice and gently placed it in his mouth, while the two young ladies stared in astonishment. Lu Di's expression conveyed pure enjoyment. After baking for 4 minutes, the rice had shed its surface moisture, each grain separated, yielding a delightful chewiness. The addition of scallions imparted a fragrant aroma, while the pork fat lent a savory richness. Lu Di savored another bite, relishing the flavors. On this sweltering summer day, with appetite waning, the addition of diced plums introduced a delightful tang, truly awakening the palate. Gulp. The two young ladies blinked their wide eyes, fixated on the plate of fried rice, swallowing incessantly. Lu Di lifted the plate towards the light, revealing the glistening golden rice, a sight to behold. Through my technique, the egg was perfectly dispersed, enveloping each grain, resulting in a dish that was not only visually appealing, but also bursting with flavor. This was the legendary golden fried rice. Delicious. Lu Di swallowed another bite, casting a sly glance at the two young ladies, his heart filled with amusement. Yin Kai could hardly contain herself, instinctively ready to pounce. Lu Di elegantly turned the plate towards them, grinning mischievously. So, ladies, do you still cherish your pride? I can't take it anymore. I want to eat the golden egg fried rice. Dignity be damned. The two young ladies lunged forward like famished tigers, seizing Lu Di's utensils and devouring the rice. Wah! This is the most delectable thing I've ever tasted in my life. Let me have more. It would be worth dying for. Soft rice man. Your culinary skills are truly exceptional. The two young ladies were nearly in tears, overwhelmed with gratitude. Lu Di chuckled to himself. Rising, he reignited the stove to prepare another portion. Clearly, given the current situation, there would be no serving for himself. Lu Di, we won't take this meal for granted. Yin Kai, mouth full of fried rice, mumbled, this bowl, we shall value at 10,000 yuan. Oh, you expect to pay? Lu Di found the notion amusing. Indeed, the style of a wealthy young lady was quite distinct. Yet, the following remark left Lu Di feeling exasperated. Lu Di, deducting that 10,000. You should prepare 499 more bowls for us. Don't forget, you received 5 million from my family. 5 minutes later, Lu Di. Deduct another 10,000 and fry us another plate. We can't get enough. Sigh. Very well. After a full 2 hours. It was only after the 4th plate that Lu Di finally got to enjoy some himself. The two young ladies had consumed 3 enormous plates. Yin Kai and Yin Xin, now utterly satisfied, patted their round bellies, leaning back in their chairs with closed eyes, savoring their contentment. Lu Di casually inquired, Kai, xin. Why haven't I seen Brother Ouyang today? Unraveling Ouyang Fingyu's schemes while simultaneously safeguarding Yin Xingwen was the primary reason for Lu Di's presence here. Thus, he seized the opportunity to investigate thoroughly. Elder sister and brother-in-law have their own home. They do not reside here. Moreover, father is often preoccupied with work and rarely returns. Generally, it is only the 3 of us living in this manner. Oh, so it's just you 3 silly girls? Lu Di frowned. Yin Kai suddenly sensed something amiss. Clasping her chest anxiously, Lu Di, what are you planning? What am I planning? You girls ought to be cautious while you sleep at night. Lu Di rose and departed, casting a deliberate backward glance, revealing a mischievous grin. The 2 young beauties instantly trembled in fright, yet they noted Lu Di's fleeting expression that was laced with disdain. In the depths of night, a figure swiftly ascended along the outer edge of the Yin family manor. Moving with the swiftness of lightning, Shaoqing stood atop the building, surveying the entire estate. A flash of purple light flickered from his right eye, reminiscent of a sinister demon lurking in the darkness. It was none other than Lu Di after dinner. The Yin family manor was merely 6 stories high, which he scaled effortlessly with his physical prowess. Lu Di pondered, surely Ouyang Fengyu would not be foolish enough to target me here in the Yin family manor? Nevertheless, regardless of the means he employs, I shall be prepared to confront him. However, how will he deal with Yin Xingwen? It is evident that Yin Xingwen is a formidable adversary in Ouyang Fengyu's quest to control the Yin family's shares. Does he intend to eliminate Yin Xingwen? Lu Di, rest assured, I have gained control over all surveillance equipment in the Yin family manor. Should anything unusual occur, I will notify you at once. Indeed, Magic Eye, can you monitor Ouyang Fengyu? That depends on whether there are network cameras where he is located. However, he has not exhibited any peculiar behavior throughout the day and is presently engaged in entertainment. Moments later, a scene materialized in Lu Di's view. Inside a luxurious club bedroom, Ouyang Fengyu reclined on the bed, flanked by 2 women who were casting flirtatious glances, eager to engage. These 2 beauties were alluring and strikingly similar in appearance. Ouyang Fengyu sighed. Though they are also twins, they pale in comparison to Yin Kai and Yin Xin. The 2 Yin girls constantly twist and turn before me, igniting a burning desire within me. One day, when I seize the Yin family, I shall have them beneath me, serving me well. Alas, he lamented. But I must endure a while longer. The subsequent scene was too disturbing to witness, prompting Lu Di to shut it off. TSK, a beast. He marries the elder sister, yet still covets the 2 younger sisters. On the second morning of his arrival at the Ingji group, Lu Di awoke to an explosion of messages on his phone. The video titled A Promising Future had gone viral overnight, garnering an astonishing 200 million views, over 100 million likes, 50 million comments, and 110 million followers. The account of D.E. had, in a single night, ascended to the pinnacle of online fame, becoming the most prominent internet celebrity. His private messages overflowed with countless invitations, collaborations, and offers, rendering him unable to keep up. Online, The top 7 trending topics were all related to this video. The ethereal voice of DE in a promising future had sparked widespread speculation about his true identity. With the hit song moving hearts and leaving 500 million netizens sleepless through the night, major music platforms were offering $80 million for the copyright of a promising future. A public petition urged DE to release more works. Whispers circulated that DE was a blind man, whose window to the world was closed by fate. Yet his talent in singing had blossomed. Even more astonishingly, numerous individuals publicly claimed to be DE overnight. The renowned singer Li Ming confessed, "I have come clean. I intended to sing quietly, but you all discovered me." The star of the stage, Sun Xiang, proclaimed, "It is I. I have dedicated 2 years to mastering my craft. And this is my first gift to everyone." Upon witnessing this, Lu Di merely smiled. It was not just serendipitous. He had no intention of pursuing it further. Rising to wash up, he set out for a morning run. At precisely 6 o'clock a.m., Lu Di left his abode, jogging along the mountain path, invigorating his body. An hour later, Yin Qingwen stood at the entrance of the Yin family estate, her face a mask of fury. Beside her, a man in black, Tai Si, bowed and said, "Third miss, I have knocked on Mr. Lu Di's door twice, but he likely remains asleep. Perhaps we should let old Li drive you today." "No. It must be him. He volunteered to be my chauffeur, and he cannot afford to sleep in." Yin Qingwen crossed her arms, frowning. "Tai Si, continue knocking until you rouse him." Suddenly, in the dawn light, a tall figure emerged from the mountain, jogging back. This individual possessed a robust physique, moving gracefully. Each breath measured and steady. Yin Qingwen squinted her beautiful eyes. "Is it him? He actually went for a run?" Lu Di approached, carrying a bag of dumplings. "Good morning, third miss. You're up quite early. Don't you ever sleep in?" Yin Qingwen was taken aback, given Lu Di's seemingly laid-back demeanor. She had expected him to be a sloth. "I rise every day at 5:30 a.m. to exercise. I have maintained this routine for a decade. Today, I also left at 6 to run a lap around the mountain. Here, would you like some?" Lu Di, while stretching, offered her the dumplings. In that moment, Yin Qingwen felt a twinge of embarrassment. She had not anticipated Lu Di to be so diligent. His unwavering discipline was indeed a commendable example for the youth, while she herself found waking at 6 to be a torturous ordeal. Suddenly, Yin Qingwen's pupils constricted as she discerned the packaging in Lu Di's hands, Lafuji's soup dumplings. The Lafuji store is situated at the foot of the mountain, a full 20 kilometers away. "Lu Di, did you purchase dumplings?" "That's a distance of 20 kilometers. You took an hour? A normal person requires 30 minutes to run just 5 kilometers. Yin Qingwen immediately sensed something was amiss. It was hardly an hour. "I even had time to eat 7 baskets of dumplings at the foot of the mountain," Lu Di casually remarked. "That is even more implausible. Lu Di, would you really boast about a morning jog?" Yin Qingwen finally comprehended the situation, her expression one of utter exasperation. Meanwhile, Tai Si, standing nearby with his eyes narrowed, listened intently as Tai Shi and others reported that Lu Di indeed made a round trip of 20 kilometers in 1 hour. The Tai brothers had witnessed it firsthand. His speed was akin to the wind, racing throughout the journey. The esteemed martial artists of the Tai family felt a sense of shame. Tai Si maintained a calm demeanor, though he was internally astonished. Having faced numerous trials and undergone rigorous training, Tai Si understood that Lu Di's speed was extraordinary, even within the ranks of elite special forces. "Mr. Lu Di, your stamina is truly admirable." "Haha, you flatter me. Are we about to set off?" "Please wait a moment. I need to take a shower and change my clothes," Lu Di declared before turning to leave. "What? Who does that when they're the driver?" Tai Si exclaimed, equally perplexed. "Why are you giving Lu Di a break?" Yin Qingwen, who had only just begun to form a slight positive impression of Lu Di, was once again infuriated. Unbeknownst to anyone, the man in black, Tai Si, watched Lu Di's retreating figure, a glimmer of intensity in his eyes. On the way to work, within the opulent confines of a Rolls-Royce, Yin Qingwen donned headphones, her expression revealing an indescribable yearning. She was listening to the song that had taken the internet by storm overnight. The future is promising. Casting a glance at the figure in the video, she compared it to Lu Di's silhouette in the driver's seat. Both were tall and slender, clad in white shirts, and even their physiques bore some resemblance. Why was there such a stark contrast? What kind of person could sing with such beauty? This T must have endured many tales. Only through such experiences could one craft such poignant lyrics and evoke such emotion. As for Lu Di, his demeanor was odd, almost like a petty thug, and he spoke nothing but half-truths. In comparison to Di, he was leagues apart. Yan Qingwen tapped on the privacy glass, directing her phone towards Lu Di to play the song. Lu Di was taken aback initially, then offered a resigned smile, complying silently. Remarkably, playing the future is promising through the Rolls-Royce's top-tier sound system rendered it even more enchanting. It was akin to the ethereal sounds of a celestial realm. All the way, Yan Qingwen indulged in a continuous loop of the song until they reached the headquarters of the Ingji Group. Upon disembarking, Lu Di leisurely strolled behind Yan Qingwen. The Ingji Group was indeed affluent. The reception hall alone boasted a height of 10 meters, exuding grandeur. Yet, Lu Di found himself somewhat puzzled. In the grand hall, an impressive screen hung from the ceiling, intermittently displaying the scrolling text, the sales leaderboard of Ingji. To her astonishment, Yan Qingwen's name also appeared, showcasing a monthly sales figure of 87 million, placing her fourth. What is the meaning of this? The esteemed daughter of the chairman is compelled to engage in such business competitions? Lu Di inquired, a sheepish smile gracing his face. Yan Qingwen pursed her lips, stating, "This is the corporate culture of our group. Everyone is a salesperson. Regardless of one's position, one must generate value for the company, and I am no exception." Lu Di couldn't help but feel a twinge of admiration. Ingji Group's ascent to its current stature undoubtedly stemmed from its exceptional qualities. Your performance is commendable, ranking fourth in the entire group. Yet, Yan Qingwen's brow furrowed, revealing her dissatisfaction. While this achievement might be commendable for others, it falls woefully short of my expectations. For reasons unknown, from the moment Yan Qingwen entered Ingji Group, she transformed into a figure of formidable resolve, her demeanor grave, as if burdened by immense pressure. Lu Di jested, "So, I suppose I am now considered an employee of Ingji Group. And I too can expand my business and strive for a spot on the sales leaderboard? You?" Yan Qingwen replied weakly, "You should rest more." Before Yan Qingwen's office stood a striking woman clad in a black bodycon skirt, eagerly awaiting her arrival. The beauty, approximately 30 years old, boasted an alluring figure. Cascading waves of deep burgundy hair, complemented by bold red lips and a style reminiscent of the West, a captivating siren rated at 90 points. "Good morning. General Manager 1. The documents for today have been placed on your desk." The alluring woman, Zhao Qianqian, curtsied, her ample bosom creating a tantalizing display. Yan Qingwen nodded, saying, "Yes, Qianqian, please schedule an appointment with General Manager Li from Xiren Hospital for me." "Certainly, General Manager 1. "Oh." Zhao Qianqian suddenly noticed Lu Di trailing behind Yan Qingwen, her expression transforming into one of surprise. "What a handsome young man. Who is this?" Zhao Qianqian gazed at Lu Di as if entranced. Yan Qingwen, turning away, replied, "He is my driver, Lu Di." "Ah, so he is the driver of General Manager 1, not her boyfriend. What a charming driver. His physique, his looks, his skin is even better than mine. An irresistible handsome man." Zhao Qianqian's heart raced. "Oh dear, little brother, you mustn't disturb General Manager 1's work. Come with me, and wait for her in my office." Zhao Qianqian linked her arm with Lu Di's, leading him toward an adjacent office. Zhao Qianqian, female, 32 years old, single, Yan Qingwen's personal secretary, possessing exceptional business acumen. Frequently seen in nightclubs and bars, nicknamed Social Butterfly at the company. Accompanying this information were several photographs, all depicting Zhao Qianqian enjoying herself on the dance floor. She donned a minuscule bodycon skirt, black stockings, a crop top, and crystal high heels, leaning against a steel pole in the bar, her hips slightly arched. Additionally, she sat on a chair with her legs apart, gently biting her lip. "Hiss." Lu Di inhaled sharply, truly captivating. "Emoton, you have indeed improved this time. You refrained from disclosing the young lady's measurements. Yet these enticing photographs should preferably remain unpublished in the future." "Very well." After seating himself, Lu Di realized that the room he occupied was connected to Yan Qingwen's office, separated only by a transparent glass partition. At that moment, Yan Qingwen was seated at her desk, diligently attending to a mountain of documents. "You naughty brother, cease your gaze." General Wen is a goddess far beyond your reach. Zhao Qianqian cast a flirtatious glance at Lu Di, giggling. Why not admire me instead? Do you not find my legs beautiful? As she spoke, she shifted her crossed legs in another direction, turning sideways to face Lu Di. Undeniably, Zhao Qianqian's legs were indeed lovely, long, fair, devoid of any excess flesh. Yet her skirt was far too short, nearly revealing all. Lu Di nodded slightly, remaining silent, his heart racing nonetheless. Brother, what do you think of my figure? Is it not appealing? Zhao Qianqian continued, accentuating her bosom, which was indeed voluptuous and alluring. Lu Di merely nodded again, striving to control his gaze and redirect it towards Yin Qingwen. Dear brother, let us add each other on WeChat. It would facilitate communication when work arises, wouldn't it? Zhao Qianqian said, taking Lu Di's phone, scanning the code, and adding herself as a friend. Oh dear brother, do not gaze any longer. Our general, one has long had her heart claimed. Lu Di expressed interest and turned to inquire. This is rather intriguing. Who is it? Zhao Qianqian smiled alluringly. Even sitting atop the table directly in front of Lu Di, her pristine legs tantalizingly close, exuding an enticing fragrance. I do not know his name, but he is truly a hero in General Wen's heart. Zhao Qianqian tossed her wavy hair and continued. It is said that 3 years ago, when General Wen encountered a thug, a man stepped forward to rescue her, yet she has been unable to locate him since. Look. Zhao Qianqian discreetly pointed at the metal ballpoint pin in Yin Qingwen's hand. That pin is from the scene where that great hero dropped it. General Wen treasures it dearly and holds it every day. What? Lu Di suddenly grasped the situation, realizing why that pin seemed familiar. Was it his favorite from his school days? Yet it had been lost for quite some time. It had been picked up by Yin Qingwen and preserved until now? Lu Di suddenly remembered that whenever Yin Qingwen felt anxious, she would take out that pin and incessantly press it. She has always regarded me as her hero? In an instant, Lu Di felt an immense weight of pressure. Alas, General Wen's journey has been quite arduous. Our department has been underperforming lately. With pressure from the company's elders above and the watchful eyes of numerous shareholders' offspring below, the challenges she faces are significant, and she has been striving diligently. Often arriving at the company with a furrowed brow, Zhao Qianqian let out a sigh and once again burst into a playful laugh. It is evident that the current Yin Qingwen is completely preoccupied with her work and has no time for romance, having turned down countless talented suitors over the years. Therefore, dear brother, it would be wise for you to relinquish your hopes. Come, let us engage in conversation. My warm embrace can offer you solace. To everyone's surprise, Zhao Qianqian began to stroke Lu Di's leg. Strangely, Yin Qingwen seemed to sense something amiss and turned her gaze towards Lu Di. Qianqian, keep your distance from Lu Di and focus on your work. Oh, okay. Zhao Qianqian reluctantly got up to leave, but as she turned, she discreetly gestured to Lu Di to call me. Hiss. Lu Di took a deep breath, finding Yin Qingwen to be rather enigmatic. And this Zhao Qianqian. How audacious. Mo Tong remarked. Lu Di, there is something peculiar about Yin Qingwen's office. What? Lu Di instantly straightened up, ready for action. Don't be alarmed. This peculiarity is rather amusing. In the next moment, Lu Di noticed several red circles appearing in his field of vision. The first circle highlighted 3 red vases on the desk opposite Yin Qingwen. These are offerings for the grave. The second circle focused on a landscape painting hanging behind a gravestone. The remaining 2 circles indicated 2 spherical sculptures flanking Yin Qingwen's room. These are tomb sculptures, and Yin Qingwen is the one entombed. After a comparative analysis, it became clear that this was a curse formation from human folklore known as the death kill. Haha, you humans are truly strange, believing in such nonsensical things. Mo Tong laughed. Upon hearing this, Lu Di's expression relaxed. So this so-called death kill is utterly ineffective, a mere fabrication? Mo Tong confirmed. I am certain there is no scientific basis. It's all folk tales. At that moment, Lu Di was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. What kind of enemies has this girl, Yin Qingwen, made? Why would someone go to such lengths in her office? And what of this death kill? How much hatred must one harbor? Well then, I must be the good Samaritan. I must say, Miss Yin, those 2 vases are quite exquisite. Where did you acquire them? Lu Di entered Yin Qingwen's office uninvited, intrigued by the 3 grave offerings. They were a gift from Deputy General Zhao, They are antiques, so you'd best handle them with care, for you cannot afford to pay for damages. Yin Xingwen replied without looking up, her tone impatient. Oh, and what about that landscape painting? Lu Di inquired again. That was given by Deputy General Sun. And these two spheres. They are called water dragon pearls, exquisite crafts. A gift from Brother Ouyang. Ouyang Fingyu? No wonder. This fellow is anything but ordinary, Lu Di thought. Realizing that both Deputy General Zhao and Deputy General Sun were likely his accomplices. Is the Yin family facing a betrayal from within? Lu Di shook his head helplessly. However, this wretched name evokes a sense of irritation. Let us break it before further ado. Alas, with a resounding crash, the antique vase shatters upon hitting the ground. Yin Xingwen, startled, abruptly raises her gaze, only to behold a myriad of fragments scattered about. Moreover, at this moment, Lu Di is still advancing towards the remaining two vases. Lu Di, what are you doing? Halt. Crash. The last two vases also succumb to destruction. Lu Di merely shrugs and nonchalantly states, it was an accidental slip. Yin Xingwen hastily rises and rushes over to assess the situation. Zhao Qianshan from the neighboring room is drawn by the commotion and, upon witnessing the scene, wears a look of utter disbelief. Lu Di, you did that on purpose. Yin Xingwen raises an eyebrow and asserts, you exclaimed alas, before shattering the vase. It is evident that it was intentional. Lu Di finds himself speechless. At this moment, you were suddenly astute? Why then did you not notice that your dashing brother-in-law intends to bring about your demise, seize your family's shares, and pursue your two younger sisters? Would you believe me if I told you this? It's merely 3 vases. At worst, I shall compensate you. Lu Di, resigned, has no desire to elucidate further. Compensate, can you truly afford it? The market value of these vases is at least 6 million. Yin Xingwen, clutching the shards, speaks with a pained heart. Provide your account details. I shall transfer the funds. Lu Di shrugs. You still. Never mind. Yin Xingwen is utterly exasperated. 6 million. Would you need to sell your possessions to cover it? Alas. Let us record this debt and deduct it from your salary. However, I wonder if there will ever be an opportunity to reclaim it. Yin Xingwen strives to compose herself, attempting to offer Lu Di an avenue of escape. Lu Di, however, smiles and quips, with the meager salary I earn as your driver, that seems quite unlikely. Nonetheless, I could spare some time to bring in business for your company. It's only 6 million for the vase. Securing an order worth 100 million should suffice. Lu Di, 100 million order. You speak of it as if it were a mere $100. From where does this confidence stem? Yin Xingwen is once again at a loss for words. 100 million order, in your mouth, sounds as simple as selling a cabbage. At this moment, Zhao Qianshan hastily diverts the topic, saying, General Manager 1. It's about time. We must depart to meet General Li at Siren Hospital. Yin Xingwen takes a deep breath, unable to bear the sight of her shattered vase, and rises, saying, Lu Di, please drive. At the Yin family estate, the twin beauties, having just finished a game of tennis, ascend to the sunroom on the 2nd floor. They intend to enjoy a pot of tea and bask in the sunlight. As Yin Kai reaches for the teapot on the table, she suddenly pauses in astonishment. What is this? No way. Yin Kai, in a daze, picks up the card. This is the card father gave to Lu Di? Yin Xinxin leans in closer, scrutinizing it for a while, and exclaims, Indeed, it is. He returned this card? The two swiftly glance back, realizing that this sunroom is typically cleaned only every 3 days. Could it be? On the day Lu Di received the card, he placed it here without utilizing any of the funds within. Good heavens! Is he truly a man of integrity? Can wealth not corrupt him, nor poverty sway him? 2 young ladies suddenly began to contemplate various schemes against Lu Di. Oh dear, we even disparaged him as a freeloader. We devised traps to ensnare him. We consumed his fried rice and deducted money from him, amounting to 5 million. How could he be so upright? His culinary skills are exceptional, and he possesses such striking looks. My goodness, I can hardly face him now. Yin Kai, how could you be so foolish as to wrong Lu Di? Yin Xinxin, you must take responsibility for your words. You are complicit in this matter as well. The 2 young women were in a flurry, distressed and anxious about what to do. But wait, Yin Kai suddenly realized something, her expression turning grave. If Lu Di truly did not take that money, then where did all those expensive clothes come from? Indeed, those garments must cost over $1 million. Ludi used to rely on part-time jobs to make ends meet. How could he afford such lavishness? After 5 minutes of silence, she exclaimed, "I understand." Slamming her hand on the table, she gritted her teeth and declared, "He must have used third sister's money. Moreover, he intentionally left the card here for us to find, hoping to instill guilt in us. Simultaneously, he is extravagantly spending third sister's funds. I wondered why Ouyang's brother-in-law spoke with me for a full half-hour that day, discussing how Ludi's intentions revolve around our family fortune. It appears this was indeed true. Ludi has been scheming all along. Human nature is truly unpredictable. I felt guilty for 5 minutes earlier. Yin Xinxin then realized, is he truly that formidable? What shall we do with the card? The card? Yin Kaikai revealed a self-satisfied smile. We shall not inform our father, nor shall we tell third sister. We will feign ignorance. Sooner or later, he will expose himself. Yin Xinxin nodded slightly, a brilliant strategy to remain unyielding amidst change. However, what shall we do with the money just lying there? 5 million is quite a substantial amount. My allowance for several months. Yin Kaikai licked her lips and whispered, how about we secretly spend it? As for Lu Di, while driving, he suddenly sneezed. Could someone be plotting against him? In the backseat, Yin Qingwen and Zhao Qianqian were engaged in conversation. Manager Wen. Although the order from Siren Hospital has reached 10 billion, they have already rejected us 3 times, and I am losing confidence. Qianqian, 3 rejections are inconsequential. This 10 billion order is crucial for me. Yin Qingwen, you must understand how significant this order is for my position. But, Manager 1, I can't shake the feeling that President Li from Siren harbors ill intentions toward you. He likely seeks to. Qianqian, enough. This concerns my standing on the heavenly ranking, my reputation, and my father's reputation. I must pursue this. At this moment, Lu Di comprehended everything. The primary business of the Ingji Group lies in the production of medical devices, while the Siren Hospital serves as a large private medical facility, making it an ideal target clientele. However, General Manager Li appears to be somewhat difficult to deal with and has ulterior motives. Motan, assist me in investigating General Manager Li. Understood. Li Dehai, male, 45 years old, rose to prominence through the sale of counterfeit pharmaceuticals, founder and legal representative of Siren Hospital, possesses connections to organized crime. Known for being cunning and excessively lascivious. Siren Hospital, a large chain of private hospitals with 16 branches nationwide. Concerning incidents, in June 2013, a significant medical accident occurred due to staff negligence, resulting in a patient becoming disabled. In January 2014, the hospital used unqualified kidney sources in surgery, leading to a patient's post-operative rejection and subsequent death, with the hospital concealing this from the family. In February 2015, Siren Hospital donated counterfeit food under the guise of charity to impoverished regions, resulting in food poisoning among several children. The remaining 120 incidents of medical malpractice at Siren Hospital are omitted. Most were settled privately and concealed, with the hospital facing no relevant penalties. Additionally, Siren Hospital has issues with falsifying medical conditions, using counterfeit medications, and employing unlicensed personnel. Damn it, a devil walks among us, Lu Di exclaimed, increasingly agitated as he read. Such a person should not be allowed to live. Where is the justice in this world? Wenwen, worry not. Scum likely Dehai shall be dealt with by me, Lu Di declared vehemently. Lu Di, you are not to speak a word, not even a syllable. If you disrupt my affairs, I shall dismiss you, Yin Qingwen stated with utmost caution. While Lu Di's playful nature was tolerable, it could not impede their work. She had grown thoroughly wary of Lu Di's malevolent tendencies. He must not be allowed to affect their business. Lu Di sighed helplessly. This foolish girl truly knows nothing. In the office of the director of Siren Hospital, the rotund and balding Li Dehai was smilingly fixated on Yin Qingwen, his gaze wandering from her chest to her hips. Miss Yin, regarding that order you mentioned, it is quite challenging. You are aware that the current situation is unfavorable. Suddenly utilizing such a substantial amount of cash will surely be detrimental to our operations. Yin Qingwen frowned and replied, General Manager Li, as long as you are willing to consider our products, I can return to the group and negotiate. Everything is open to discussion. Oh, everything is open to discussion? Li Dahai's gaze shifted to her slender waist as he smiled. Miss Yin, my shareholders trust me implicitly. With my strong recommendation, this matter can be practically settled. However, this is not a simple conversation. How about I book a suite at the Huiya Hotel today, and we discuss this over a meal? A suite? Lu Di, who had remained silent until now, interjected gloomily. A young lady going to a suite with you to discuss business. How will she show her face afterward? Li Dahai paused, glancing at Lu Di. And who might you be? Lu Di, do not speak further. Yin Qingwen turned to Li Dahai with a smile and said, Mr. Li, please do not take offense. He is merely my new driver. So he is just a driver? Li Dahai leaned back, furrowing his brow. I thought he was some important figure. Young man, stay out of matters that concern our boss. Be more astute in the future. I trust you are aware that I have certain influential figures supporting me. If my associates are displeased, I dare say no one in the entire Haishur would dare to collaborate with you. After stating this, Li Dahai leaned back, a grin spreading across his face as he regarded Yin Qingwen. After a brief silence, Yin Qingwen gritted her teeth and said, Mr. Li, as long as I agree to dine with you, our order can be confirmed? Lu Di observed as Yin Qingwen spoke, pulling out a metallic ballpoint pen and incessantly clicking it. She was internally conflicted. Of course, if the illustrious Miss Yin grants me this honor, I, Li, must do my utmost. Li Dahai's grin was almost salivating. Then I have a condition, and I hope you won't mind, Mr. Li. Yin Qingwen suddenly raised her head, declaring, First, we will only dine. Second, I will bring my assistant Qian along. Of course, that is acceptable. Li Dahai glanced at Zhao Qian beside him, inwardly sneering. A buy one, get one free? This little vixen isn't too shabby. I'll just slip something into your drinks and then you'll be at my mercy. Very well, Mr. Li. We shall meet in the evening. On the way to the parking lot, Yin Qingwen's brow was furrowed. She was well aware that Li Dahai was not an easy adversary. Lu Di glanced at Yin Qingwen and said, Oh, I have a sudden whim to discuss a few matters with that Li Dahai. You two wait by the car for a moment. Lu Di, you are the driver. How can you make us wait for you? Yin Qingwen replied, her expression displeased. Lu Di raised an eyebrow. Miss Yin, didn't you say that in the Ingji group everyone is a salesperson and must achieve results? Am I not a person as your driver? Yin Qingwen was momentarily taken aback by his words, left speechless. Lu Di, stop right there. Give me 5 minutes. By the time she regained her composure, Lu Di had already dashed off. In the office of the hospital director, Li Dahai burst into laughter upon seeing Lu Di enter. So, it's the driver of the beautiful Miss Yin. What is the matter? Is your Miss Yin overly eager? Lu Di casually sat at Li Dahai's desk, propping his legs up on the table. With a click, he lit a cigarette with a limited edition Zippo and languidly exhaled smoke rings, saying, Li Dahai, you scoundrel, how dare you insult me? Do you believe I want to chop off your leg? Li Dahai slammed his hand on the table, shouting angrily. Lu Di remained unfazed, continuing to blow smoke rings. I suggest you check your email first. Didn't you have a new message? Li Dahai was taken aback as a new email popped up on his computer, automatically opening and enlarging the contents. In June 2013, due to negligence on the part of the staff, the Tsirin hospital faced grave consequences. By September of the same year, further oversights from the hospital resulted in even more alarming incidents. The document meticulously chronicled all the scandals associated with Tsirin Hospital, accompanied by various diagnostic reports, surveillance video snapshots, and even photographs of deceased patients. Each tragic event unfolded with a vividness that surpassed reality itself. Li Dahai's pupils constricted in shock. What is happening? The hospital had been involved in over 100 medical mishaps, a detail even Li Dahai himself could scarcely recall so thoroughly. This was impossible. How could anyone possess such knowledge? A cold sweat drenched Li Dahai's back in an instant. If this information were to be disclosed, 10 lives would not suffice for his compensation. Who could be behind this? As the documents continued to flip autonomously, all 120 medical incidents were meticulously accounted for. After a prolonged wait, the final page was revealed, bearing a striking signature, Lu Di. Lu Di? Who is Lu Di? A tempest of confusion surged within Li Dahai. Suddenly, he realized, trembling, and inquired of the young man before him. Forgive my poor memory, May I ask your name? Lu Di grinned mischievously, responding, I introduced myself earlier. I am Lu Di, the driver for Yin Qingwen. With a thud, Li Dehai could no longer maintain his composure, his legs giving way as he collapsed to the ground. Big brother, I was wrong. Spare my life. Lu Di replied, since you acknowledge your error, do something that amuses me. With that, he rose and departed. In the parking lot, a somewhat agitated Yin Qingwen finally spotted Lu Di returning with a leisurely gait. I told you not to go. It seems you were rebuffed. Yin Qingwen glanced at Lu Di with resignation before turning to say, drive us back to the company. Why the rush? Lu Di casually leaned against the car, replying, let that foolish pig stew in his thoughts for a moment. Lu Di, just because President Li declined your proposal doesn't mean you should resort to insults. Yin Qingwen's brows knitted in frustration. President Yin, please wait. In the distance, the portly figure of Li Dehai hurriedly approached, almost tripping over himself. President Yin, we can discuss the contract right now. What? Yin Qingwen's eyes widened in disbelief. I apologize for my previous demeanor. Let us finalize the contract now. No need for dinner. Li Dehai panted heavily, sweat glistening on his forehead. Oh, an ant. Lu Di crouched nearby, one hand pinching a half-burnt cigarette. His curiosity captured by an ant scurrying on the ground, reminiscent of a street urchin. Little ant, I'll grant you a chance to play. But if you fail to amuse me, I shall crush you. Li Dehai trembled in fear and quickly exclaimed, President Yin, there is no need for negotiations. Let us confirm the contract directly. Yin Qingwen was momentarily stunned. What? Lu Di, with a playful smirk, picked up a brick and traced a circle around the ant, which dashed about. Oh dear, I made the circle too small. This isn't as entertaining. Li Dehai quickly retracted his gaze, trembling as he exclaimed, President Yin, I believe that an order of 1 billion is insufficient. Let us sign for 2 billion. I will make an immediate down payment of 30%, 600 million. After speaking, Li Dehai furtively glanced at Lu Di once more. President Lu, you. Yin Qingwen was even more bewildered, glancing at the anxious expression on Li Dehai's face, then casting a puzzled look at Lu Di, who was amusing himself with an ant. Lu Di remained crouched, not even lifting his head. Suddenly, he noticed the brave little ant daringly escape the earthen circle he had drawn. Lu Di furrowed his brow. Hey, I say, little ant, why are you not following the rules? Do you believe I won't crush you? To outsiders, Lu Di appeared to be nothing more than a child with a mental disability at that moment. However, Li Dehai was trembling with fear. President Yin, forget the deposit. I will pay the full amount directly, right away. You may decide when the goods will be shipped. My goodness. Zhao Qianqian, standing nearby, was nearly stunned speechless. Is this a business negotiation? This is nothing short of pleading, offering to pay for the privilege. At this point, Li Dehai's eyes were brimming with tears. President Yin, would this arrangement be acceptable to you? Before Yin Qingwen could respond, Lu Di's mocking voice rang out. All right. You are free to go. Just roll away as far as you can. After this, Lu Di turned back with a smile. President Li, I wasn't referring to you. I was merely conversing with the ant. Please, continue. Do take care of small animals. Li Dehai was drenched in sweat, his facial muscles nearly cramping. President Yin, did you bring the contract? If not, I have a printer here. Please be sure to sign the contract before you leave. Yin Qingwen's mind was utterly bewildered. She stared blankly. Qianqian, prepare the contract on the way back to the company. Within the confines of the car, Yin Qingwen clutched the contract worth 2 billion tightly, her heart racing with excitement. This was the largest contract she had secured since joining the group, and indeed the largest in the history of the organization. It was enough to elevate anyone to the pinnacle of sales achievement. Simultaneously, it was the most inexplicable contract she had ever signed. Zhao Qianqian stared blankly at her phone. President Wen, the funds from the hospital have arrived. The full amount, 2 billion. All right, understood. Yin Qingwen replied as if in a daze, her gaze never leaving the driver. Lu Di, what exactly did you say to Li Dehai? Did he sign the contract because of you? Lu Di scratched his head nonchalantly and replied, Oh, it's quite simple. I am actually a super hacker. I just breached the entire computer system of the hospital. I uncovered Li Dehai's dirty secrets, and I used that information to blackmail him. If he did not comply, I was prepared to eliminate him. Yes, That's about it. Yin Qingwen looked skyward, closing her eyes in despair. Lu Di, I beseech you, can you not act normally? All right, Li Dehai is, in fact, my uncle. Are you satisfied now? What a coincidence, it's Lu Di again. Yin Qingwen felt herself on the brink of collapse once more. She finally admitted that she could never surpass Lu Di, nor could she ever truly understand him. An unprecedented oddity. Speaking of which, how is the sales commission calculated in our group? Lu Di inquired with a smile. Yin Qingwen exhaled, weakly responding, 0, 5, 2 billion, 10 million. The finance department will contact you later. Heavens! Zhao Qianqian beside her was wide-eyed, exclaiming, 10 million. That's an enormous sum. Our Lu Di has become a wealthy young man. I adore him. Oh, no need, Lu Di replied, elegantly adjusting his hair. This deal shall be attributed to you. Consider it compensation for your vase. Yin Qingwen was taken aback. Did this fellow truly remember the vase incident? Was he serious about compensating her with a deal? And he actually accomplished it? In a low voice, she said, no need, you keep the money. Yet Lu Di continued, as for the additional 4 million, consider it your emotional distress fee. It's just right for you to visit a psychologist, so you won't be fiddling with that ballpoint pen all day, how bothersome. After all, with a heroic figure like me protecting you, what need do you have for that wretched pen? As he spoke, he even threw a flirtatious glance at Yin Qingwen. What do you mean by heroic figure? Yin Qingwen's face flushed initially, then she was left speechless again. Only then did Zhao Qianqian react, exclaiming, my goodness. A 10 million commission, and you just refuse it like that, Lu Di? With a hint of helplessness, Lu Di replied, what does 10 million mean to me? I can make billions in just a minute. Suddenly, Zhao Qianqian smiled seductively. Then tell me, how long can you last? Qianqian, tone it down a bit. You are merely colleagues. Yin Qingwen frowned, adding, moreover, who is Lu Di? Making billions a minute. His earning speed could rival our entire group. I have no doubt. Are you two really compatible? Huh? Lu Di squinted, saying, I never realized you had such a sharp tongue, Comrade Yin. Who did you learn it from? Yin Qingwen chuckled, responding, Comrade Lu, if you were in my shoes, spending every day with a king of boasting, wouldn't you pick up a few skills? Zhao Qianqian stood to the side, a bit dazed. The dynamic between Yin and Lu seemed rather unconventional. Was this the legendary banter of wit? There was definitely something going on. Upon their return to the Ingji group, the leaderboard in the hall had been updated. The top two names were Yin Qingwen and Lu Di, with a transaction amount of 2 billion. A crowd of employees gathered in the hall, discussing animatedly. Yin is incredible, sealing a deal worth 2 billion in one go. This must be the deal with Siren Hospital. I heard that Mr. Li has long coveted Yin. Surely, she wouldn't be. Their wealthy affairs were quite chaotic. But who is this Lu Di? Why haven't I heard of him before? Indeed. What kind of name is that? Is it the character for younger brother? A young female employee remarked, I heard that Yin brought along a handsome young man this morning. Inseparable from her. Could he be Lu Di? Will there be anything happening between them? Could it be that one has taken him under her wing? Suddenly, the shoulder of the female employee was gently tapped. As she turned around, a pair of violet eyes were fixated upon her. Goodness! The employee had just covered her mouth in shock, only to be struck dumb again. He was so handsome. The dashing young man spoke in a low tone. Allow me to offer you a piece of advice. It would be wise not to gossip about the male employees in the office, for you never know when one of them might become the son-in-law of your chairman. The female employee's mind went blank. Lu Di, stop embarrassing yourself over there. Yin Qingwen strode over with a stern expression, dragging Lu Di away without hesitation. In the vice president's office, Yin Qingwen sat at her desk, feeling somewhat agitated. For reasons unknown, she found herself compelled to check on the peculiar antics of Lu Di. As expected, in the corridor, Lu Di was snapping a photo of the leaderboard with his phone, deliberately magnifying his name. It appeared he was about to post it on social media. Yin Qingwen's expression darkened. This brat. He had previously feigned indifference, yet now he sought to flaunt his accomplishments. Just as she intended to confirm her suspicions, she opened her social media feed. Suddenly, she froze. How could it be that she did not have his WeChat? Had her friend request been denied? That insufferable creep. Lu Di, with a beaming smile, sent the photo to one person, his mother. He wrote, Mom, I've landed a great job. Moreover, I've gained the attention of my superiors and secured a major deal. I'm quite wealthy now. In a few days, I'll return home and buy you a new house. After putting down his phone, Lu Di felt his eyes welling with tears. Ever since his injury, his mother had been filled with worry, living frugally. Solely focused on curing the aftermath of his condition, times had changed. Mom, I will ensure you live in luxury, respected by all. In the office of Siren Hospital, Li Dahai stared at the data on the screen, his forehead glistening with cold sweat. Ultimately, he gritted his teeth and picked up his phone, dialing a number. Hello, Boss Black Fox. My information has been unearthed, and in its entirety. The voice on the other end was deep and curious. Who possesses such capability? The young man is Lu Di. He is a driver. A driver? Lu Di. Yes, he indeed serves as the driver for the Yin family. Boss, this fellow must be eliminated. Otherwise, I shall find no peace. There was a moment of silence on the other end. Suddenly, a note of confusion arose. The Lu Di of the Yin family? Could it be mere coincidence? Recently, someone offered 5 million for his head. 25. The culinary master returns at 6:30 p.m. The workday concluded at Ingji Group. Zhao Qianqian extended her long, fair legs, blocking Lu Di's path. You rascal, where are you off to this evening? Would you like to join your sister for dinner? This woman, a charming mature beauty, alluring and seductive. Lu Di was momentarily at a loss for words. Ahem. Yin Qingwen, her face darkened, appeared behind the two. Qianqian, you stay behind to work overtime. Lu Di, come home with me for dinner. Ms. Wen, you cannot interfere in our employees' personal lives. Wait, hold on. Why is it a matter of going home for dinner? As Zhao Qianqian regained her senses, Lu Di was once again pulled away by Yin Qingwen, who waved her hand in resignation to bid farewell. On the way back to the manor, Lu Di, seated in the driver's seat, wore a serious expression. When I've stumbled upon something rather peculiar. Noticing Lu Di's demeanor, Yin Qingwen instinctively became serious as well. What have you discovered? Lu Di turned his head, his brow furrowed. It seems you're a bit jealous. What? Zhao Qianqian is trying to entice me, and you're feeling envious. Following this, a furious exclamation pierced through the soundproofed interior of the Rolls-Royce, resonating into the heavens. The aloof female CEO completely abandoned her composure, unleashing a pair of words she had never uttered before. Lu Di, you're talking nonsense. Haha. Lu Di laughed heartily, finding joy in sparring with Yin Qingwen. 10 minutes later, the opulent Rolls-Royce, valued at 20 million, came to a halt in front of a humble local market, feeling somewhat out of place. Eggplants for 2.5. Cabbages, 10 for 3. The vendor's shouts filled the air. Lu Di turned to the irate Yin Qingwen and smiled. Speaking of meals, I happen to be quite a good cook. I'll go buy some ingredients. I'll show you my culinary skills tonight. Before Yin Qingwen could agree, Lu Di had already exited the vehicle. Yin Qingwen frowned, gazing out the car window at the bustling crowd, the muddy ground, and the laborers haggling over meager prices. Could the vegetables bought in such a filthy place be edible? Knock, knock, knock. Lu Di rapped on the car window, a sheepish look on his face. When, this place only accepts cash. And I happen to have none on me. Upon hearing this, Yin Qingwen's heart softened. It seemed that Lu Di was not merely short on cash, but rather completely broke. Having spent over 5 million, he was utterly drained. Looking at her impoverished savior, Yin Qingwen could hardly feel anger. She gently opened her wallet, withdrew a stack of cash, and softly said, if it's not enough, just ask me for more. TSK, TSK. Truly wealthy, Lu Di snatched the money and dashed away like a thief. 20 minutes later, Yin Qingwen regretted her decision. The greatest regret of her life was giving Lu Di money for groceries. The trunk of the Rolls-Royce was already filled to the brim. Lu Di returned with several fish and dozens of pounds of beef. He even brought back a bag of dirt, which he had no choice but to place inside the luxurious cabin. At this moment, a bag of flopping sea bream splashed water onto Yin Qingwen's face. Fresh beef oozed a pool of crimson liquid, causing Yin Qingwen to hesitate to step inside. What sins did I commit in my past life? Why do I know Lu Di? Yin Qingwen screamed. Who was calling my name? Outside the car, a young man in a white shirt tossed another bag into the vehicle before coolly returning to the driver's seat. What is this? Yin Qingwen stared at the wriggling contents of the bag, a shiver running down her spine. Silkworm pupae, high in protein, beneficial for muscle gain. Ah, insects. Yin Qingwen, can you maintain some decorum? Why are you screaming? Anyone unaware might think I'm assaulting you. Lu Di, you are far too outrageous. Wait a moment while you savor the meal I have prepared for you. I fear you may fall in love with me. Outside the kitchen of the Yin family manor, Lu Di has barred everyone from entry, proclaiming that his culinary skills are not to be observed. Yin Qingwen clutches her phone, hesitating whether to order takeout. What perplexes her is that upon hearing Lu Di was to take charge of the kitchen, the two little girls, Yin Kaikai and Yin Xinshin, erupted into cheers. At that moment, the two girls were running about the courtyard, asserting that only by exhausting themselves could they truly enjoy a hearty meal. Yin Qingwen simply could not fathom how Lu Di, who appeared to be anything but a capable cook, could elicit such enthusiasm. She was aware that before joining the Yin household, Lu Di had worked as a waiter in a restaurant. Could it be that he learned some culinary secrets during that time? Yet, what exquisite dishes could possibly emerge from such an establishment? 10 minutes later, a cacophony of thuds emanated from the kitchen, as if someone were mercilessly assaulting a piece of beef. 20 minutes passed, and the kitchen reverberated with a shrill, grating sound. Reminiscent of nails scraping against a chalkboard, Yin Qingwen sighed from behind the door, hoping he wouldn't ruin the kitchen. 30 minutes elapsed, and it sounded as though someone was kneading dough in the kitchen. 40 minutes in, a chill wafted from within. What on earth was Lu Di concocting? Just as Yin Qingwen's patience was wearing thin, the kitchen door swung open. Lu Di, gently wiping his hands with a white towel, announced, "Ladies, dinner is served." The three young ladies of the Yin family, each bearing their own sentiments, stepped into the kitchen. Wow, how dazzling. It was blindingly beautiful. Before them stood a magnificent ice sculpture, a breathtaking mountain range crafted from ice blocks, undulating and grand. A mist of white vapor rose from it, ethereal and dreamlike. This is Yin Qingwen's eyes widened. As a member of an elite family, she had never before encountered such artistry. This must be an extraordinary display of knife skills. Lu Di, did you create this? Lu Di shrugged nonchalantly, just a bit of skill with the chisel, a mere ice mountain. But what shall we eat? Yin Kaikai and Yin Xinshin gaped in disbelief. Are we expected to gnaw on ice? An excellent question. Lu Di glanced at his non-existent wristwatch. Noting that the sashimi atop the mountain had taken 6 minutes and 10 seconds to prepare, and there were only 50 seconds left to savor it at its peak flavor, consumption was advised post-haste. Sashimi? Where? Yin Kaikai leaned closer to the ice sculpture, finally discerning the delicate slices of fish flesh meticulously adhered to the icy surface, so thin they were nearly imperceptible. Lu Di smiled gently, lifted a slice with chopsticks, and held it under the light, where it shimmered faintly. Such remarkable knife work. Dipping a corner into soy sauce, Lu Di placed the fish in his mouth and closed his eyes in bliss. He elongated the sound, the thickness just right. Not only was it freshly slaughtered, but the icy mountain preserved its exquisite state incredibly fresh. Coupled with the top-tier soy sauce from your Manor-esque kitchen delectable, the two twins stood by, their mouths watering profusely. My heavens, I can hardly bear it. Oh dear. Two young girls rushed forward, eagerly snatching the fish and stuffing it into their mouths. Lu Di smiled gently and asked, Miss Yin Qingwen, would you care to try? Yin Qingwen dismissed it with a wave, finding it all rather gaudy. Merely a ruse for children. However, as she took a piece of fish, dipped it in soy sauce, and placed it in her mouth, her expression froze instantaneously. One word echoed in her mind. Delicious. It was as if the fish had come to life. She had never tasted such exquisite sashimi before. Even world-class chefs could not achieve this. Lu Di, are you certain this is from the fish in the car? In Yin Qingwen's memory, those were considered inferior ingredients. How could they yield such flavor? The fish remains the same, quite respectable indeed. But my knife skills are truly rare. Lu Di shrugged and approached the stove, at which point Yin Qingwen noticed a massive ball of clay behind him. Lu Di, I must admit, your culinary skills are quite impressive. Indeed, very impressive. But why is there so much clay in the kitchen? Lu Di smiled mischievously. This will be my next dish, traditionally roasted beef. With a thud, Lu Di struck the massive clay ball, creating a gaping hole. In the next moment, a fragrant aroma wafted through the air, overwhelming the senses. The two young girls, entranced by the sashimi, suddenly lifted their heads, sniffing the air. What is this? So fragrant. Open up. It's beef. A colossal piece of beef. Yin Qingwen was once again taken aback. The beef was simply too fragrant. At that moment, all other culinary delights seemed to pale in comparison. I first shaped the clay into a stove, then ignited lychee wood beneath it. I placed the unseasoned beef inside to roast. The closed stove not only preserved the beef's flavors, but infused it with the fruity aroma of the lychee wood. The rich beef, smoky flavor, and fruity wood essence merged into a harmonious whole. Lu Di stood with arms crossed, tilting his head and proclaiming, "This is the authentic fruitwood barbecue." The two little twins swallowed their drool. Yin Qingwen felt her throat subtly constricting, working hard to maintain composure. Lu Di smiled slightly, his knife elegantly twirling in his hand, as he expertly sliced off a large piece of beef. Then, with a swift motion, he cut the beef into 1 centimeter thick slices. As for the seasoning, pure and simple. Merely the most ordinary sea salt. Lu Di grabbed the sea salt and sprinkled it into the plate along his arm. Salt sprinkling prowess. Well, the eyes of the Yin family's 3 daughters widened in astonishment. On the plate lay the perfectly charred, tender beef, sizzling with juices. The crystalline sea salt melded with the fat, gradually dissolving away, reawakening the tantalizing aroma. "Lu Di, I want to eat beef." Yin Kaikai's gaze was fixed, slowly advancing toward the plate of beef like a zombie. "Wait." Lu Di intercepted Yin Kaikai, chuckling. "How much debt does this meal amount to for me today?" Suddenly taken aback, Yin Kaikai recalled the bank card from the sunroom and found herself at a loss for words. "Lu Di, I wish to partake as well." Yin Qingwen stared intently at Xiu Shui, her eyes wide, as she gazed at Lu Di, desperately concealing a flicker of eagerness. "All right, but let me make this clear." Lu Di brandished a dining knife and, before the ice mountain, etched a line delineating a corner of it. "As for the beef, you may only consume this piece upon the table. The fish fillets are restricted to this corner of the ice mountain. The remainder belongs entirely to me." "That's unfair." "Lu Di, why do you reserve so much for yourself?" Yin Kaikai protested. "You may disagree, but I am well aware that Miss Yin San ordered takeout, so you can indulge in that. Everything on the table is mine." The 3 women exchanged glances, and Yin Qingwen's expression shifted to one of embarrassment. In a flash, Yin Kaikai seized a piece of beef and stuffed it into her mouth, declaring, "I shall act first." Subsequently, Yin Xinxin also began to indulge heartily. Meanwhile, Yin Qingwen maintained her composed demeanor, elegantly portioning the beef with her knife and fork. 3 minutes later, tears welled in the eyes of the 3 sisters. "It is truly delectable. No regrets in death." "Ah, Kaikai, eat slowly, leave some for me." "Xinxin, this is a world governed by the law of the jungle. Whoever seizes it, owns it." "Sister, didn't you say you wouldn't eat meat in the evening? Why are you consuming so much?" "Sister, you have already devoured your 50th piece of fish and your 6th piece of beef." Yin Qingwen continued to eat, her pace accelerating. The image of the icy goddess was cast aside. She was utterly captivated. Lu Di had not exaggerated this time. His culinary skills were undeniably of world-class caliber. Regret washed over her. She should not have made him a driver. He ought to have been a chef. Observing the 3 sisters devouring their meal with abandon, Lu Di smiled knowingly. It was time for him to partake as well. The lavish meal was a result of the reminder from the demon boy. His body's enhancement value had reached the pinnacle of an ordinary person's capabilities within the past 5 hours. Next, he aimed to break through the genetic locks, surpass the innate physical limits of humanity, transcending the genetic constraints of an ordinary individual. The demon boy's enhancement of Lu Di's body was contingent upon the energy he consumed. Currently, he had nearly 30 pounds of beef and over 20 fish fillets, all high in protein and energy, coupled with hydration. These were the optimal substances for synthesizing muscle fibers. Engage. With his energy firing on all cylinders, Lu Di once again showcased the ferocity of a glutton. He devoured a pound-sized piece of beef in 2 bites. With one hand, he grasped and swallowed over 100 pieces of fish in a single gulp. Thanks to the energy transformation from the demon boy, Lu Di had no fear of overindulgence. On the contrary, he struggled to keep pace with the rate of energy expenditure. Detection of beef protein intake resulted in the synthesis of 0.3 grams of muscle fibers, with muscle strength increasing by 1.6 Detection of beef protein intake resulted in the synthesis of 0.5 grams of muscle fibers, with muscle strength increasing by 2.1. Detection of beef protein intake resulted in the synthesis of 0.9 grams of muscle fibers, with muscle strength increasing by 4.6. Strength enhancement value, 895. Physical strength enhancement, 630. Half an hour later, the three daughters of the Yin family had consumed their modest portions of food, feeling utterly satisfied. Meanwhile, Lu Di had devoured all the remaining food. Is he even human? Burp. Yin Kai stared blankly at Lu Di, uncontrollably letting out a burp. How can he eat so much? Isn't he worried about bursting? With all that beef, he could rival the competitive eaters overseas. Yin Qingwen, however, wore a somewhat complex expression, perhaps due to the hardships he had endured in the past. At that moment, Lu Di was resting with his eyes closed. Just 10 minutes prior, his body enhancement value had soared to an astonishing 1,000. In that instant, he seemed to hear a shattering sound within him, akin to a long-imprisoned glass cage suddenly breaking apart. During the previous half hour, Lu Di had experienced a phenomenal surge in muscle growth and strength, reaching unprecedented heights. And now, everything had returned to tranquility. The formidable power remained, yet it became effortless to wield, like a flood bursting forth or a gentle breeze caressing the flowers. The demon child proclaimed, "Lu Di, you have transcended the genetic lock. This is a transformation of life's essence, evolving from mere control of the body to fully unleashing your potential. The first stage of the genetic lock, which corresponds to the second stage of human mysteries, now warrants you the title of New Human. You can now overpower 99 of humanity and exist on an entirely different level. What about the remaining 0.01? Lu Di inquired, puzzled. Those are the gifted individuals among humanity, whose genes naturally surpass the ordinary. Just as there are intellectual prodigies, so too exist physical prodigies. I was indeed quite ignorant previously. Rest assured, Lu Di, while their genes are exceptional, they are unalterable. Yet you are different. You are merely at the beginning." Just as Lu Di was concentrating on sensing the changes within his body, Yin Qingwen's voice suddenly interrupted. Kai, Xin, after consuming so much, you cannot simply sleep. Let us go train." "No way. Third sister, do we really have to box again?" Yin Kai exclaimed, her face contorted in dismay. "Yes, we are going to box, until we have burned off today's calories." Yin Qingwen stood up decisively and glanced at Lu Di. "Lu Di, you should join us." Yin Kai's eyes suddenly brightened. "Third sister, let Lu Di be your sparring partner. Okay? We've forgotten the moves from last time. Let us review first." Yin Qingwen contemplated for a moment and agreed. It's true. Lu Di looks quite frail. If he encounters danger, he might lack any self-defense capability. It's indeed time for some practice. Haha, Lu Di, your time is up. Ever since the incident, Third Sister has been relentlessly practicing Taekwondo and has now become a skilled red belt. Suddenly, Yin Kai envisioned the scene of Lu Di being tossed around by Third Sister, feeling a twinge of guilt. She grinned and said, "Lu Di, don't blame me. I'm also afraid of being beaten by my sister. For 3 years, not only has she been training herself, but she has also insisted that we all learn, claiming that a weak woman must possess the skills for self-defense." Lu Di opened his eyes, an odd expression crossing his face, and slowly inquired, "Yin Qingwen, are you sure you want to spar with me?" "Absolutely. Spare me the chatter. How peculiar and lacking in romance." On the top floor of the Yin estate, gazing at the expansive gym and the competition standard boxing ring, Lu Di sighed. A mansion is indeed a mansion. One must simply get used to it. When the three daughters of the Yin family entered, Lu Di's eyes brightened. They had just showered and donned form-fitting sports attire, though just in their 20s. The two young women boasted enviable figures. Their tight outfits accentuated their youthful and vibrant forms, exuding an alluring charm. Yin Qingwen had her long hair tied up high, wearing a snug sports top beneath a white taekwondo robe. Although her figure was somewhat obscured, her silhouette alone revealed her exquisite physique, honed through years of training. If a photograph were taken now, it would surely attract a frenzy at the taekwondo studio, an undeniable advertisement with deadly appeal for men. Truly, 3 enchanting beauties. Lu Di, why haven't you changed your clothes? Yin Qingwen frowned at Lu Di, who was still clad in a white shirt and jeans. Heh, I have no clothes. Lu Di replied defiantly. Yin Qingwen sighed in exasperation, realizing that he indeed had none, having purchased 200 identical outfits. But how can you fight me in this? Yin Qingwen placed her hands on her hips. Lu Di shook his head and said, I can just take off my shirt. But I want to confirm once more. Are you truly ready to fight me? Lu Di, could you hurry up? Just let third sister have her turn. I still have to go live afterward. Yin Xinxin and Yin Kai chimed in, eager for the spectacle. Yes, I need to keep an eye on my husband. He might release a new song soon. Husband? Yin Qingwen frowned. It's D.E., hee. Yin Kai teased, sticking out her tongue. Lu Di, bewildered, asked, Kai, aren't you going to ask if he agrees to marry you? Mind your own business. Humph, just take care of yourself. Lu Di helplessly conceded, all right then. With that, he began to slowly unbutton his shirt. The three Yin sisters instinctively cast their gazes toward him. Generally, handsome men are all skin and bones. In the next moment, their mouths fell agape in astonishment. Lu Di had removed his white shirt. His physique was not massive, but he was a veritable mass of muscle. Well-defined pectorals, an 8-pack of abs, bulging biceps, and a well-defined V-line. Even the muscles along his ribcage were distinctly outlined, like the divine figures of ancient Greek sculptures. Every muscle is chiseled with exquisite precision. This physique resembles a masterpiece, brimming with a sense of strength and beauty, devoid of any excess flesh. Not even a hint of fat. This is utterly stunning. That face, coupled with that body. Simply perfection. The phone in Yin Kai's hand slipped from her grasp and fell to the ground. Lu Di, how could your physique be so remarkable? Yin Xinxin covered her mouth in disbelief. Hee, a natural beauty, further enhanced by labor on the construction site. Lu Di himself felt a tinge of astonishment. Is this what they call a new breed of humanity? The three daughters of the Yin family, hearing Lu Di's words, could not conjure an image of him laboring at a construction site. There he stood, bare-chested, with slightly bent arms, exuding an aura of formidable strength hidden within his well-defined muscles. Like a cheetah, poised to spring forth with lightning speed. Like a mighty lion, ready to strike with bone-crushing force. The two twin sisters regretted their earlier antics. Lu Di is indeed strong. Thankfully, he did not take offense at our previous prank. Lu Di is also incredibly handsome, so striking that he shattered all their preconceived notions. The two young ladies couldn't help but ponder a dilemma. If both Lu Di and De were to propose as my husbands, whom should I choose? Yin Qingwen was once again captivated by Lu Di. How could such a perfect man exist in this world? Subconsciously, Yin Qingwen finally associated her ideal hero, the one who would rescue her from peril, with Lu Di. Have I been too harsh in my demeanor towards him these past few days? He doesn't harbor any dislike for me, does he? Her heart raced with excitement. On her typically aloof and stunning face, a rare blush appeared. This enigmatic man is truly one of a kind. So, where shall we spar? Lu Di's question interrupted the daydreams of the three girls. Wait a moment. Yin Qingwen suddenly halted her breath. Did I actually challenge him to a duel? Regret washed over her. Although she was a skilled practitioner of Taekwondo, facing Lu Di's iron-like physique and his imposing presence stripped her of all confidence. Perhaps Lu Di knows nothing of Taekwondo or any martial art at all. Yet, just a glance at the biceps of his arm suggests he could easily subdue her. If he were to pin her down, she might be utterly defenseless. The mere thought of being held down caused Yin Qingwen's cheeks to flush deeper. Can we expedite this a bit? Lu Di, seemingly oblivious, had already made his way to the boxing ring, standing in one corner, awaiting Yin Qingwen's entrance. You strange fellow, lacking in romance. Do you intend to strike at a weak woman like me? Yin Qingwen stamped her foot in frustration. Lu Di, perplexed, replied, Didn't you say you wanted to box? I confirmed it twice. Lu Di, you are such a typical guy, she exclaimed, laughter escaping Lu Di as he finally succumbed to the absurdity of the situation. He could no longer contain himself. From the very beginning, he had been posturing. Lu Di was acutely aware of the formidable power and terrifying nature of this so-called new human. How could he possibly lay a hand on Yin Qingwen? A misstep would result in dire consequences. Lu Di chuckled, Comrade Yin, if you concede defeat to me, I shall spare you today. You, Lu, I shall not concede. To Lu Di's astonishment, Yan Qingwen gritted her teeth, tightened her taekwondo uniform, and prepared to step onto the stage. Wait, if you come up, how will I come down? Just then, a sudden knock echoed through the room. In walked He-Si, clad in black. He bowed slightly to Yan Qingwen, saying, "Third Miss, I heard you were competing with Mr. Lu, so I came to take a look." As he surveyed the room, he quickly grasped the situation. Turning to Lu Di, he stated, "Mr. Lu, the third miss is akin to my half-disciple, and in my humble opinion, she is not your match." Despite his impassive demeanor, there was an unmistakable wariness in He-Si's gaze as it fell upon Lu Di. He gently removed his watch and took off his outer coat, casually proposing, "How about I spar with Mr. Lu for a few rounds?" "Is this truly necessary, He-Si?" Yan Qingwen questioned, regarding her unusually peculiar bodyguard. Who was He-Si? He had been taken in by Yin Hoxin alongside his brothers at the tender age of 10. From an early age, he was enrolled in various martial arts training programs and extreme training courses. At 15, he was sent to serve in the military, returning at 25 as a bodyguard for the Yin family. For the past 5 years, He-Si had resided within the Yin estate. In the eyes of the young ladies of the Yin household, he was nothing short of a monstrous figure. Once, when confronted by kidnappers, He-Si single-handedly subdued over a dozen assailants without sustaining a scratch. During a hunting expedition in the mountains, when they were attacked by a bear, he fought a full-grown black bear and successfully broke its neck. Such formidable prowess. His only misstep occurred 3 years ago when Yan Qingwen ventured alone to a bar and was beset by thugs. He had not been by her side to protect her. Since then, He-Si had been plagued by deep remorse and self-reproach. From that moment on, he resolved to guard against any hint of malice directed towards Yan Qingwen, sparing no one. After thorough investigation, He-Si had confirmed that this young man, Lu Di, was indeed the one who had rescued the third miss all those years ago. However, Lu Di was somewhat peculiar, perhaps even sinister. Not only did he disregard the safety of the third miss by racing with her, but in under 40 minutes, he traversed a 20-kilometer mountain road. What astonishing physical prowess! Could one truly call him a mere part-time waiter? A laborer on a construction site? An ordinary individual? Impossible. He was certainly no ordinary man. Such a person, with ulterior motives, seeking to ingratiate himself with the third miss and insisting on becoming her chauffeur? He-Si was unconvinced that he harbored no ulterior intentions. He held a profound distrust of Lu Di. It was indeed a matter of great importance. Tai-Si spoke in a low voice, his cold gaze fixed intently on Lu Di. Tai-Si, he is merely an ordinary man. How could he possibly stand a chance against you? Yan Qingwen expressed her concerns. In her eyes, Lu Di indeed possessed a fine physique, muscular and handsome. However, that was where it ended. Lu Di could at best be considered a moderately successful fitness enthusiast, utterly outmatched by someone of Tai-Si's caliber, professional bodyguard, or, more aptly, a combat machine. There was no possibility of victory. The scene of Tai-Si snapping the neck of a black bear haunted Yan Qingwen for 3 consecutive days of nightmares. Tai-Si, let it go. Lu Di would never dare to harm us. Although Yan Kai and Yan Xinxin harbored no fondness for Lu Di, they certainly did not wish for Tai-Si to break his arms or legs. "My dear ladies, you underestimate Mr. Lu," Tai-Si remarked, setting aside his suit and slowly unbuttoning his shirt. The moment he removed his clothing, the 3 Yin sisters gasped in unison. Standing nearly 2 meters tall and weighing at least 150 kilograms, Tai-Si's physique was a testament to sheer muscular power, akin to a dragon. While Lu Di's muscles leaned more towards aesthetics, Tai-Si's were undeniably terrifying. His body bore countless scars, crisscrossing like a tapestry, with several healed bullet wounds, undeniable evidence of his fierce encounters on the battlefield. Goodness, what a muscular devil. Lu Di tilted his head, examining Tai-Si with a newfound interest. Tai-Si, be gentle. Just a light touch. Please, don't injure him. Yan Qingwen said nervously, fully aware of Tai-Si's nature. An archetypal soldier, unwavering and resolute. What he decided, no one could contest. Rest assured. Third miss, Tai-Si replied, slowly approaching the arena. As he stepped onto the stage, it sank slightly beneath his weight, perceptibly affecting the ground beneath Lu Di's feet. Mr. Lu, Tai-Si enlisted at the age of 15. serving in the 43rd District of Northern Huaxia as a special operations soldier, executing border missions 136 times across regions such as northern Vietnam, Myanmar, and various European nations, capturing 206 enemy combatants and eliminating 134. He has received third-class merit awards twice, and both second and first-class merit once. 5 years ago, Tai Si declined the joint plea of 7 military generals to stay, returning with his brothers of the Tai family to repay the kindness of old Master Yin. Tai Si's eyes gleamed with intensity as he stood tall before Lu Di, inquiring, "May I ask, Mr. Lu, where do you hail from?" Lu Di could not help but admire him. Tai Si exuded an imposing presence and had a storied record of military exploits. He was not only devoted to his country, but also a man of integrity, loyalty, and gratitude, truly deserving of the title of a soldier king. Yet, Tai Si's intention to reveal his background was quite apparent. He was employing a strategy of courtesy before aggression, awaiting Lu Di's explanation of his origins. "Brother Tai Si, I am merely a humble citizen, fortunate enough to possess a modicum of strength." Lu Di slightly bowed. His words, though humble, bore a kernel of truth. "Since Mr. Lu is unwilling to disclose the truth, let us see the reality through action." Tai Si suddenly clenched his fists, the sound of cracking bones reverberating throughout. "If you refuse to speak, then we shall compel you to do so through combat." As the situation grew increasingly precarious, Yin Qingwen shouted, "Tai Si, Lu Di is our father's guest. We must not resort to violence." Tai Si remained silent, regardless of who he was. Anyone posing a threat to the Yin family must be eradicated. Just then, the gym's door swung open once more, and the brothers of the Tai family, Tai Wu, Tai Lu, and others entered in single file, taking their positions on either side. "What are you doing?" Yin Qingwen exclaimed in surprise. "Do not hold it against the third miss. Lu Di is no ordinary person. We have been observing him for quite some time, and he poses a significant threat to the young ladies. If he does not provide us with a satisfactory explanation today, he shall not leave." Tai Lu replied, his expression resolute, choosing not to speak further. "Well, I never anticipated that I would attract such attention," Lu Di remarked with a wry smile, realizing that the day would not conclude favorably. The Tai brothers were undeniably loyal and fearless, a commendable trait. The myriad transformations of power. "Lu Di, my dear, you must understand. The emergence of a new breed of humanity that transcends genetic limitations is far more complex than you might imagine. Among your kind, there exists a term known as momentum, which is essentially the invisible magnetic field emitted by a person. This field can be sensed through the sixth sense, imposing psychological or behavioral pressure on others. The new humanity not only enhances physical prowess but also amplifies the body's magnetic field, surpassing the ordinary and reaching unprecedented heights. I have named this enhanced magnetic field Thousand Forces. Ding! The integration of subconscious momentum is complete." Lu Di felt a thunderous resonance in his mind. This fusion of consciousness was unlike any before. A kaleidoscope of momentum flashed before him, an aura of a great general, the gallantry of iron steeds and golden spears, a fierce disposition, and even an ethereal celestial presence. It was a breathtaking array of transformations, each more astonishing than the last. Thousand forces, a myriad of momentum. How intriguing, Lu Di mused, summoning both wrath and pride simultaneously. The two invisible forces spread like a great net in an instant. In the next moment, Tai Si, who was advancing steadily, suddenly froze, his expression stiffening. It was as if the temperature in the room had plummeted. He sensed an indescribable aura of bloodlust emanating from Lu Di, who stood nonchalantly in the distance. This young man seemed to hail from the depths of hell,
Tomorrow I'm gonna do a
capable
little
of
bit
decapitating thousands with...
So I've been, like I said on the stream yesterday when I was talking to Amadeus. Tomorrow I might do a little bit of, relearning how to make games on Unreal Engine. I've got to relearn how to do a bunch of stuff because it's been, I want to say maybe 2 years or so since I last did any since I've touched it. So And because my computer is slow, it's gonna be a lot of slow loading up and stuff like that. But that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. That's the plan. Yeah, if you guys want to check it out, I would really appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, I'm gonna head out for the night. Have a good night, everyone. Peace.